Um,
Hated it.
Welcome back, guys. It's day numero cinco, day number 5 of review week, the DJ DAX discography in review. 7 days. We're on the day cinco, and we've got 2 heaters on us. And I also got a nice little panel with me here. We got Bizarre, Camo, Jaywalk in the mute zone. We got from the Mandem himself, Big Lax.
Yeah.
That's right.
You like that?
Can I do an intro?
Yeah, welcome to Shiga Elysium. Make sure to follow Team Future
What
on
it do
all
is
your...
your boy BZANXX Good Boy. Remember to follow Shiga Elysium on Twitter at Shiga Elysium for all your Shiga needs and updates. And also be sure to head over to BZANXGoodBoy.com for all my social links and music. And head over to twoifyouorder.com and get some clothes.
Those Shiga boys are still taking applications, right?
Can I do an intro too?
No.
Go ahead.
One of these days I'm gonna upload music somewhere, but I'm not gonna tell anybody where it is, so you just have to find it. All right,
Hey, dude, archive.
That's
No,
that.
I did that 2 days ago, and no one has found it yet. It was an album of like 6 or 7 songs.
But we don't care if you upload the Audio Mac or not. So
That's a hard read. He's
No,
telling.
it's actually on SoundCloud.
No, I gotta upload it somewhere else.
Yeah, guys. Actually, my new album is already on the Galissa Pod Squad page.
Is that
So
right?
yeah, and you know what? I was in the stew with him, so I'll put you guys on. So
This is a Team Future remix.
remix. Yeah. We've got 2 heaters on us. We're going through the Heartificial EP, Volume 2,
Yes, sir.
and of course, DAXLING in the BZANXX.
Yes, sir.
That's me. I'm the
Yes.
BZANXX.
As I've said a couple times now, this half of the review week is something special because I consider it sort of a proper Bemunity half, where a lot of the Bemunity members that you know and love, like Red Frost, Breton Boy, say not,
Yeah, the beloved.
you know, some of my frequent collaborators, came around and started doing exactly that, frequently collaborating. So it's gonna be fun seeing how all that went down. So taking that trip down memory lane to Heartificial EP Volume 2, we see here it was released on a Wednesday, February 14th, 2018, a Valentine's Day, as is tradition. The description reads, "Love shines bright this Valentine's Day, and DJ DAX's eyes are seeing the full spectrum. Explore love in every color, infatuation, betrayal, lust, forgiveness, and more." Before we get into playing it proper, I mean, that's already telling you a little bit of what to expect. On the last album, or the last volume of Heartificial EP, as we know, 5 songs, spelling out heart with the track list. I told myself that my mission would be to cover different kinds of love. Whether I executed that perfectly is up to you guys to decide. But this time around, instead of covering all the kinds of love, I wanted to really go into the different aspects of love, hence the full spectrum being seen. And that's something that's actually brought about in the album art for Heartificial. Pulling it up here. As you can see, the single cover art is actually all supposed to be eventually organized into a rainbow of sorts. Getting the whole gradient in there, and of course including your light and dark at the end. So yeah, all to really speak on that spectrum that we're about to see. Heartificial EP Volume 2. We got the track list here. It's a funny technicality that I've never had any like listener or fan bring up to me is that this thing is definitely not an EP at all. It's literally 9 tracks. You've mentioned that?
I have.
You. So it's like, it's really called that mostly in that it's the volume 2 of the first idea. And in my head, 9 songs isn't super satisfying. Or like, I mean, it's fine. But it's like on the shorter side of satisfying, right? But yeah, nonetheless, definitely a sequel. I believe it came like 3 years after the first joint. I think this was like 2015, and this one was like 2 years ago. Yeah, 2018. So yeah, 3 year span. I'm about to start the very first song, but before I do so, a little Easter egg I was showing Camo in him was how Heartificial EP Volume 1 starts. On the title track, Heartificial, Peep Game.
I don't love you anymore. I want to spend the rest of my life in my heart. Maybe you should take notice. You are the most beautiful person I've ever seen. Make sure you raise this love.
And bear that in mind as we go into Heartificial EP Volume 2 with the first track, Cielo Mio, featuring Brittany Marie. Let's get it. What up, Trev? Glad to see you showed up. The sound is back. Same intro.
Your air that I'm breathing, the clouds that are feet on my soul. And I know we can see it, but we get depleted, we're home.
Hey, hola.
See yours. Sky of my life's getting brain sunlight from the story contigo. You make this happen. Give the praise to the Most High, the one who abides in the heavens. You're a 10 out of 10 out of 9. You don't mind that I'm a 7.
Let's go.
The second I'm closing my eyes, I can tell you're my greatest obsession.
You teach me a lesson. Your love is like a weapon. Fighting for my time, and baby, please don't use discretion. You're my new obsession. I don't wanna waste no time. Don't gotta take it slow. Right here by my side, deep in your eyes, I see the glow. I love being with you, but you don't wanna stay. Try to make it work, but you still walk away. I'm still stuck on you. What am I supposed to do? Won't find someone new. Now my sky is blue.
That I'm breathing, the clouds that are feet on my soul. And I know we can see it, but we get depleted, we're home. Stay at the soul and never flying solo. You might be the one above the sun that takes my breath away.
Thank you, Brittany.
Something about that. Lay my heart down, we're way apart. Beauty trapped up in her eyes. But I look away. Clouds are moving, it's another day. Don't be like her, don't throw me away. Thinking this all harder if you stay. You're air that I'm breathing, the clouds that are feet on my soul. And I know we see it, we get depleted, we're whole. Veo la estrella en tus ojos, I'm never flying solo. You might be the one about a song that takes my breath away. He said no.
Before I let that ride out, that was Cielo Mio. What?
Yeah, that shit's so hot.
Shit's still hot. Shout out to Auto Mud. But what an interesting special song. I'll tell you guys right now, in terms of insight in terms of putting that as an intro to this project, super with intent. In that, Heartificial Volume 1, it starts with the song Heartificial, which is really supposed to embody the meaning of that quote-unquote word, which is that, the heart's involved, but there may or may not be an artificial aspect to whatever emotions are going on. Meaning, is it true or is it not? But on this one, I wanted to kind of set the stage with everything being perfect, with everything being completely fine, no shadow of a doubt, cielo mio. Like, it's just beautiful, complete and utter infatuation, right? I just know I love her. But as you progress through the song and we reach Brittany's verse, there's a bit of darkness thrown in there, in that, my sky is blue, but now I'm talking about blue in a sad sense. And I reveal a little bit more on verse 3 that I have my vulnerabilities about, I was played by my last girl, my heart's kind of shook, and I have a hint of doubt of, don't be like her, please. Don't treat me like she did. That'd be neat. Because, you see, the problem is, and then insert the hook, that I see you in this way. You're just damn near my breath, my sky, blah, blah, blah. So the stakes are high. And then cue the rest of the album, right? I'm not sure if anybody else has any other thoughts, but I'll let that transition into the next track. If not,
Good song.
Good song. All across, yeah.
Oh, wait, I have to wait for this whole thing to go by.
Get ready. Get your rocker voice in.
Let's get it. Talk to me. Track 2. Shut up.
It's true.
Yeah, at least this one's not locked.
Exactly.
Shout out Elsa Haas.
Shout out Elsa Hosk.
I fucking knew it.
Girl, I gotta make you mine. I've already made my mind. I just wanna take your time. You told me to take my time. Michelle Obama takes lines next to ex-presidents. Honey, hit her up on FaceTime to prep her next residence. Like she's Killer Cam, where it's all pink. When she kills the cam, I'm Aubrey. Cause she killed the that's all me. No fidget, but I spin her all three.
Dated.
With the wrist, look at this. But just that I can't just because you look the best. I just wanna talk to you, but talking back is all you do. You won't know what you is up now, face swing it on down. We can mix it with the loud bass. This is my style, this is my style, this is my style, this is my style. It's 11:20, things I say.
Not even that late.
You won't hear me out. Say you ain't ready, but I really doubt. Communication's exactly what we like. Your one hesitation's just why I can't relax. My foot on the pavement, but you just ran 3 laps in my ruminations. Why this how you treat Jax like girl, I gotta make you mine.
That's right.
I've already made my mind. I just wanna take your time. Cause I know you're looking fine tonight. Got you on my line tonight. If you talk to me, then maybe you'll see how it ought to be. Guess I keep on calling, falling in love on the phone. If you talk to me, then maybe you'll see how it ought to be. If you talk to me, maybe you'll see how it ought to be. Guess I keep on calling, falling in love on the phone. If you talk to me, then maybe you'll see how it ought to be.
We got peace.
I'm trying to make the connection like the string between the two cans. Nobody knows your beauty, colorful toucan. One could be so lonely, but if you let me in two can, I'm just plugging into your system for player 2. Damn, you and I want for the conversation. You like action and all end results. You enjoy building up barriers, waiting for someone to scale all the walls. Ready to break them down and place all the pieces together, that's Tetris. Treat you like a lady, that's something the younger guys miss. Forget how it is, you gon' be the queen in the story, miss. This a work in progress, the chapters ain't even finished. You wanted to take it slow to the spaces between the lines diminish.
And we can do it all.
Right, just promise when I'm down that pedestal that I have placed you on will never fall. Just promise when I'm going and out on the grind that you muster the strength of the call. You move different for better motives from the bottom to the top of the totem. I got a shocker like Rodham, I'm overdosing like Odom. I'm getting lost in the moment, I see you needed a second to breathe. You've been
Let's
telling me
go.
you ain't ready for all that, but I live in the 90s, I'm just trying to give all that. You enjoy the arguing, you see it ain't all bad, so maybe we can work this out, cause the phone calls late at night get repetitive. And I'm trying to roll over and see you smiling happy. You ain't ready, see that line get repetitive. You would rather keep it quiet, but baby, I'm loud as can be. Hoping you would bring me serenity if you love me long enough to witness me.
Woo, breath.
If you talk to me, then maybe you'll see how it ought to be. Yes, I keep on calling, falling in love on the phone. If you talk to me, then maybe you'll see how it ought to be. I really wanna know you. If you talk to me, then maybe you'll see how it ought to be. Yes, I keep on calling, falling in love on the phone. If you talk to me, then maybe you'll see how it ought to be. I really wanna know you.
Let's go. Okay, I'm gonna pause it right there real quick. Man, another decently compelling song, I think. I'll start off with the negative first, honestly, since I can mostly get out the way. I think the hook, while it's like fine, my performance isn't 100% satisfying. And I don't know if it's just a matter of like my range and how that delivers a thing. But yeah, I feel like I much would have preferred maybe somebody else handling that and really nailing it. There's also some autotune on like my verse that isn't very creative. Like it's almost like I didn't really know what to do besides the initial melody, you know? And from there I was just sort of rapping and the autotune was on me, but it was just kind of taking me wherever melodically. Similarly on some of Piece's stuff, like this section right here, very uninteresting, the melody. But the lyrics are great, I thought. And the moment over here of the, them, give me the batter and the totem, got on the road, like that shit was crazy, I thought. So all that, I mean, really pieces well together. I forgot to mention this on the last cover art. Cielo Mio, of course, we got Elsa Hosk here near some clouds, because sky is what cielo means in Spanish. My sky is what it translates to. And on Talk to Me, we got some phone UI from back in the day. What is that, like iOS 11 or 7? I have no fucking clue. Something like that. But, yeah, that's where we're ending up here on this Talk to Me joint. Fun fact about this song, it actually samples a Jodeci track called Come and Talk to Me. And yeah, that fits like perfectly with the song's theme, no? So yay. I'm gonna let this transition into the next song, which makes sense after that desperate attempt of like, yo, I need your attention, I was in love with you and I need you now. Upon not really getting what you needed, I guess this happens. You've been well.
If she was planning on breaking up with me, she should have told me. The only thing I ask for is respect. And you out here fucking some other nigga? If you really had a problem with me, then you would have fucking broke up with me first and then started fucking some other nigga. But nah, you wanna have the best of both worlds and try to play me, nigga? You don't play Pete, bro.
So, factoid, I mean, I don't know who even remembers that instance, but that's Peso. Yeah. You remember how that call went?
Yeah.
Yeah, we were all in.
That's an old reference.
Yeah, we were all on Discord, and I mean, honestly, it was around the time of this project's creation. You know, Peso was going through some stuff with his shawty at the time. I mean, there's not a lot to like expose, not that I mean to either, but yeah, I mean, the idea is that, I mean, that was recorded during the conversation. Of course, I got his permission and all that, but yeah, very, very interesting that I was able to capture like a real moment of him preaching about like, nah, we ain't about to do all of that, which totally fits this. So,
I I just want to say that yes, it fits the theme. It's just that it would have went better on a song with Peso, and I think we pointed that out 2 years ago as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I mean, I
It's
kind of like
like,
the
yeah.
idea that he's sort of unrelated on this one. Like, almost as if it was just, some, what is it? Some Marvin's Room thing where it's like, if Shorty was on verse 2 of Marvin's Room, I would have been like, oh, really? Okay. You got her. You got the girl that was upset at you, huh? But,
Wow.
but yeah.
He murdered her.
But here we are. He been woke. Shout out to Trev, you geezer. Another quick pause. The intro here, that was actually supposed to be the hook. Or at least it was written as the hook of the song. And I was like, no, I don't really like that. So I'm going to just use that elsewhere. And, kind of faded it out, put a little filter on it so that you don't have to pay too much mind to it. But just so that while that beat is rising, there's some sort of content there, right? So that's just some music nigga backstory, so.
How I go from getting you right to letting you go. Maybe you right, we shouldn't get close. Doors couldn't be closed now, keep it 10 toes down.
Let's go.
Yeah, it's true, it seems you've moved my dreams to lunacy. Who's cruel and mean? Yeah, you can see you agree, scrutiny rules me, give me back my jewelry. Gone, you was not fooling me. I had Gambino, it started with shoot your shot. I had the free throw, but now I'm just downing shots. Those are not free though. I need them, cause heathens like you got an ego. I'm onto your tricks and I've seen all your evil. I'm stunning on tricks, I'm rap evil, Knievel. Admittedly, I am like church of Santito, but you're still out here selling hearts of Bandito, girl.
Let's go.
But I don't need you. I don't believe you. Okay. You wanted to deceive, true. Got me wishing for a redo. Maybe I didn't want to get with you from the start because I knew we'd get together and never would break apart. And I know it's a selfish thing to say. I made from you apart, maybe because ultimately more options give security to my heart. Hey, that's well. I'm shout out to Jack Hill, just taking a love class. What's up to the last spell? Cause used to be dropping. You like to be often, but now that I'm popping, you wanna start talking. My ex, I don't need the shots like Kobe. And no, I'm moving on, I guess you don't really know me.
R.I.P. Kobe.
Hurt my soul. Will I ever let you go? Will I change, girl?
I don't know.
I'll never let you go.
Love his verse here.
Hey, I've been woke, the masses know the weed I smoke, a massive toke, so I don't show the shit I know about these hoes, sick being. How they break a nigga heart to decimals, the point being, in between me and her, disperse for another bitch, feels get hurt. My fuck's been gone 6 feet in the dirt, death in my eyes, rear view in the hearse. Hey, purgatory in my cup, tell me what the fuck, what is love? Had enough, I don't even wanna touch, do not compare me, I'm God like I'm Jesus. I step on the face of the fucker with Yeezys. I could lead her on, but boy, that is too easy. So I break her off, leave her mental in pieces. For every murder, they say there's a reason. You murdered my sanity, committed treason.
Snap.
Will I ever let you go?
Mm.
Will I change, girl? I don't know.
I'll never
Let you go.
love this part. And then I intersplice this part right here, I believe. Let's go. Any thoughts about being woke?
Nah, again, that's a solid song.
This is a good. This project is
It's
just.
just-
Before we even get too deep, it's just good. It's the
I
first
fucking
time-
hate that shit. It's garbage.
Anyway, it's
It's
the first time that like I listened to music of yours, and I was just like, "Yo, this is like good, all the way."
right, like it's just well rounded.
Yeah.
I mean, I think this concept is neat. In terms of musical inspirations, I haven't touched that in a bit. Track number 1, Cielo Mia, was inspired by Miley Cyrus's Adore You. Talk to Me was very inspired by How About Now by Drake. And Been Woke is just some general, like, kind of like Bryson Tiller ass, like, mood that I'm trying to bring across. And I really try to get in that bag of sort of like singing while rapping. I'm gonna tell you, I mean, I didn't nail that at all. But, you know, regardless, the DAX style you end up getting, I think, is interesting and worth looking at. Because, I mean, you don't necessarily get that all the time. Or at least didn't get that all the time. Some very poignant lyrics in there. And, I mean, yeah, all pointing to that idea of, like, girl, I've been knew about you.
Yeah, I've been woke.
That's
I have
right.
a few comments.
Dale.
Okay, whatever that means, Pitbull.
Oh God.
I'll put up subtitles.
Yeah, my name's Giovanni, not Dale. So, I liked it.
Yeah.
You did get a little rapidy rap there, and you know I fucking hate that.
Okay.
But I could deal with it. I was like, oh, okay, well, it's Dax, you know, he does that. What I really, really didn't like
Yes.
is your
Oh yeah, I think
in there.
it's a little. The
I
argument
like-
can always be made that it's tacky, right? And on top of that,
Not even tacky.
sure, but I was gonna say, even on top of that, even if I really wanted to have it, it's way too high in the mix. It's damn near at the volume of the main vocal, so it's sort of distracting, like you said.
It stands out too much on a slowish type mellow kind of song, like where you know, I don't know.
Yeah.
It just but you do that anyways.
And look, I mean, this is something that's interesting about entering these newer projects or more recent projects, that a lot of the gripes aren't going to be, dude, what's wrong with your mic? You know, the gripes aren't going to be, dude, that song idea is stupid, or like, you aren't good at performing the rap, do another take, right? Like, if anything, it's going to be more like minutia stuff of like, that ad-lib was a little too loud, or the auto-tune could have been in like the harmony key instead, or like stuff like, you know, the mix thing we just mentioned, or maybe like a small hiccup in the performance, or, you know, those are the things we're going to be running into mostly from here on out. As Lax and Camo said, I mean, we're in an area of like relative safe quality, I guess. Transitioning into the next track, Girl, What Ya Doing?
The best track ever.
Also notice Been Woke alarm clock on the cover art. 7:20, I wonder why.
Let's switch it up, girl.
Autumn with like his first like huge impression with the hook here.
She deserves all the praise. Her pretty eyes always put me in a daze.
Okay, I might just spend a bag real quick.
On like a woman?
Not this. There's some Junji Ito merch on Crunchyroll I need to cop.
Oh, for sure.
You want a link or something?
Let's go, Timmy.
Girl, I think that you're special. All types of fine in the combo with espresso. Caramel skin, macchiato with the bento. I take you to go, make you smile with your dental. Trying to make you mine, so let's focus on your mental. Think about the time you was talking about credentials. Now we got the shot, ping bang with your cute ass.
Right.
Had to hit you up like, damn, what you do that? Baby, what you doing?
Oh no, my verse is coming up. I forgot I'm on this song. And I love that. The addition of like my vocals coming in on the second time around, not necessarily on the first. It's that school of thought that I've always told you guys about, giving the listener something to like anticipate or like want to get to.
Screw that other dude.
That's right.
Never in the mood, that attitude. Yeah. Always been a prude, super rude. Always new excuse. Here's the future view. Wouldn't need the proof of what I would do. You and me, the crew, and that kind of new. Just read your dude who will reheat your food. What we need to do is yabba dabba do. Is yabba dabba true.
Never true.
Let's go. All right. And hyper reality, the worst thing about that is that I did not nail that performance. Like, I'm not even really concerned with how like corny it is. because whatever I'm saying what I wanted to say or whatever. I mean, but I'll hear anybody out if that's what they want to say. But ultimately, that performance was like whack as hell. Like I stumbled very hard on the choose a preacher dude who will reheat your food, and that's ultimately sort of disappointing because that at least could have made that like that degree more tolerable. That being said, I'm not a huge guy on, well, if it's a good idea, at least give it that. But yeah, I'm glad that I was able to make a line like that caused so much contention. I mean, who else but me to compare myself to a useful nigga that will microwave your leftovers. So let's bump that one more time.
Kinda new. Just be your dude who will reheat your food. What we need to do is yabba dabba do. Is yabba dabba true? I've seen it both ways. I have those days. But you need someone better
to be yo, bae.
Ain't no doubt about it. Use it time allotted. You my shorty on my pace, so Peter, girl, you know I got it.
Yeah.
Hey, let's slide on your next boy. Hey, hey, huh?
Inside, I'm that next boy.
I'm that next boy. Hey, hey, huh? Happy cuando estoy contigo, mío, mine. Take your time. We both got them all white Reeboks. She rocks thigh highs, nets, and knee socks. I don't need them other chicas. I'm the kid that's for the detox. Tell that lane, leave me alone.
Yeah.
You live for your own.
Woo.
He asked what you doing. Tell that stupid. Moving on.
What you want, Lil Nick? Days. Without me. Dub YD. Let's go, Peso.
Yeah. What you doing? Baby girl, I just need to know what's going
Went on.
Please don't leave me hanging. Cause girl, I'm just trying to hang on. And I don't know how love turned out like this. Yeah.
Let's go.
Got us feeling like shit. Yeah. And I look deep up
In her eyes.
I know exactly what I did.
You look so good to me, I swear. When you look me in my eyes, swear no one's there.
Let's go.
You look so good to me, I swear. When you look me in my eyes, girl, I don't care what you doing. Yeah. Whoa.
Let's go, let's. Know what you done. Know what you done. Yeah. Girl, what ya? Girl, what ya?
He's spitting.
To get that out the way immediately, that's a voice clip. I forget why I was even recording that time, but a conversation between Chris and I. We were in the car, and it was some picture that I think she had put up or something. And he was trying to get me to slide into Shorty's DMs. I've mentioned her by.
For anyone who might not know.
Yeah, I was gonna say I've mentioned her by name before, and I mean, she comes back again.
Chris, for anyone who might not know, but okay.
Oh, my bad. Misread. The girl in question is Cheyenne, and Chris is my IRL best friend. I've been his friend since.
We all know
your boyfriend. We get it.
Yeah.
Yeah, his URL best friend is big like.
Uh-oh. Jealousy. But what's it called? Chris has been my best friend since 7th grade. And yeah, I mean, over time that, became buddy old pals. So yeah, he was trying to give me that pointer of hey man, you should just go in and slide in those DMs. Because honestly, ultimately, what do you have to lose? So really fitting that that theme of hitting a girl up, of hey, what up, big head? That's the type of thing he was trying to get me on. So it sort of fits the song. In terms of the song's quality itself, I mean, great, right? I mean, Oddwin carries. that's easy to say, right?
I see it.
No,
Okay. What you
so
got
I
for me?
disagree. So, a lot of people were saying. I mean, it's not a win. It's about to be. Not yet though. Odwin did really well for a producer at the time. That was like one of his first like grand performances. You mentioned that
For a
So,
non-vocal artist.
Yeah, for a non-vocal artist, he did really well. But I said that I think Timmy O really carried for the bridge that he does in the end.
Oh, really?
Oh,
And
actually, hard to agree.
yeah,
I
and
have to agree with you there. That's no wham. That's a.
Yeah, I agree.
yeah. Well, no. This is the wham part. I begged these niggas to be on this song,
Okay.
and I got past flame, bro. Fuck this fucking album.
Okay.
yeah.
I mean, EP.
Okay.
Nigga, same thing.
Yeah, you're definitely just.
So you know what's interesting? I can sort of give you some credit in that I think Timmy is second in my head in terms of like importance or relevance to the song because he bookends it, right? And he even has ad libs during Peso's part, which I mean is not that distant from his last, input. But yeah, it's almost as if he's telling a story and he's opening it up. We come through as members of the cast, and he closes it out. So it's very interesting in that sense. But that being said, I'm actually not a big fan of the bridge, and it might be because of my personal involvement. Super random, but shout out to JJ the Black Arrow for having followed. Tank Schmang if you watching, and if not, catch the VOD, nigga.
Catch the vibe,
But catch the vibe.
But the bridge part is undermixed in my opinion. In that he sounds fine, but like I wanted it to sound a little more complex than that. Like there's not really like the depth, like the amount of ad libs and layers that I wanted in there, and I got pretty close. But for context, this song was one of the last ones to be finalized before I released the project. It was like with a day away from like release date. And like I had not submitted it to, DistroKid to get it out everywhere. So I was already relatively late. So like I stayed up at night on a computer that's running Adobe Audition that couldn't even play like the project file for, more than 5 seconds before like not crashing, but like crumbling into itself or whatever, like sonically. Like it was so hard. I had to like go in mixing, guessing what it would sound like. And I had to play it safe. So, maybe I'm glad that it comes off as like something of quality to y'all. But ultimately, what I see there is sort of like a missed opportunity. I definitely wish I could have done my verse a little better on that intro. Everything else is like tolerable. Shout out to Peso. I really love his second melody on like his, the latter half of his 8-bar. And yeah, Odwin, shout out to him for really like stepping out of his comfort zone that one time. He honestly just was like, I didn't ask him to do it. It was more like, yo, I could do a hook on that. I'm like, really? He's like, yeah, actually, 1 sec. I'm like, and then like he just handed it back. I'm like, I have to use this. This is my song. This is what the song is now.
That was a wild day.
Yeah. Cover art. It's got the lightning there. It's because we're starting a spark is the idea. Next song, Jesus Christ, I went to the whole profile. That's not what I want to do. Next song we got is Heart Skip, the interlude. Blue, 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 blue. Love this lullaby of a song.
Damn, Mike Bean going crazy.
Woo!
It's late and you've forgotten the ways I'm done and trodden. I see the text and I know your heart skips 2 times. The lies what the truth finds. Crime doing tonight. Yeah. Your heart skips 2 times.
Thank you, David.
I felt my little heart skip. Never been good at loving. Now you're looking elsewhere, knowing that it's not fair. No one for me out
Love that.
Couldn't control my candy lust. She was like my candy crush, feeling just like candy's touch. For so much.
It comes back.
Shout out to Allie. I thought you had me, that I've been wrong for so long. Bring on the tally. I've been alone, just living sadly. Then one summer on phones, I'm calling Gabby. I'm texting Gabby, FaceTiming with Gabby, who said it's that easy to forget because before the shutty came and went live.
Like what?
Came and went live. I can't resent life.
Damn.
Yeah. And I'm asking my God when you send wife. Yeah. It's late and you forgot it. Louise, I'm done and trodden. I see the text and I know.
Slow it down.
Heart skips 2 times. Lies with the true finds. Crime doing tonight.
Love that as an interlude. Short, sweet. In terms of inspiration, I don't think I had this in mind like actively, but it's definitely sort of like 808y in that it's just like one main vocal, and I'm not really like getting into making it complex and adding layers at all. And I wanted to leave in all the breaths and everything, so it really felt rough and around the edges, down to the filter, no. And yeah, I get into just like 3 quick relationships that I was sort of honoring, but were way in the past. Like Candela, who I called Candy, or some people called Candy as well. Ali, who people are now aware that was mentioned plenty of times in other songs.
Too many times.
That's right. I can't get over her, and her goddamn tube sucks. And then Gabby, who you first heard mentioned in 72, in fact, who was a girl that I kind of had like a summer thing. And then like it just like stopped as fall came through, which made sense. Like I never knew, but it was real. Summer flings are real, you know? And with that sort of recap, where it leaves me is like, I mean, ultimately, I can't resent life. Like I can't be tight about this. Like these are just experiences I gotta go through or whatever. But of course, the song is kind of drenched in sadness either way. Any thoughts before we move on to a nice little cameo?
Shut up. You got Gamer asking you a couple questions.
Okay. He realized he missed where the glasses came back in the previous stream. Gamer, on the song File Select on the project Begin the Legend, number 1 in the tier list. That song has me saying something about cute Christian girls with nerd glasses on with I Heart Jesus t-shirts on or something like that. So yeah, that's where that came on. Is that ultimately his question? Yeah, cool. And Bizarre, your input?
That interlude is nice. I understand your vision for not adding layers. I love adding layers though, but I get it. The only gripe I have with that is you said Gabby's name a lot. Like, it was almost like the ending to fucking Marvin's Room at that point. It got a little scary,
Yeah,
I'm calling Gabby, I like that. I'm texting Gabby, FaceTiming with Gabby. Like, oh, okay.
Yeah, and although I don't think that was what I was going for. Definitely, there was some sort of urgency that was supposed to come with that. What I wanted to make it seem more like was almost like very matter of fact. Like, I'm saying, oh, there was this girl and she was wonderful, and then what I go into is like a change log. Dax called Gabby. Dax texted Gabby. Dax FaceTime Gabby. Like, just to say, like, this is the shit we were up to. Like, we were definitely talking. But
now Gabby's gone.
Yeah, she gone with the wind. But yeah, I do like that too. I like the idea that maybe I'm a psychopath and nobody has found the bodies yet. Anyway, any other anything else? All right, let's yeah.
This is the cameo, right?
The cameo's coming up. Yeah, we got our main man Chrissy, with the little cameo.
I remember there being albums that I listened to for the first time and think, damn, I got to hear this with you.
That's right. Actually, some context there. I made her say that, but where that was coming from, I don't know if you can get it, and the way that she kind of like chose to emphasize her syllables or like the words. But ultimately, I don't know if you guys can relate. Specifically with Cheyenne, I remember listening to If You're Reading This, It's Too Late, and thinking, like, when it dropped, right? It was like a shadow drop. I was up late night, and I was like, guys, you don't understand. This album, it's like different. It's like Drake just created a sound. Like, this shit is amazing or whatever. And, like, I was already thinking to myself, oh my God, like, me in the car with Shorty and, like, playing, like, the jungle or you know, that jungle track, like, on the way back from, like, some late night event, I'm gonna fall in love like crazy. Like, this music bangs. So, like, that thought was, hearing all this music, the one thing in my head was, wow, and when do I get to play this around the girl that I'm interested in? But yeah, thank you for that cameo, Chrissy, and beautiful.
So you're telling me you almost caught feelings from a Drake song?
No, not really, but you know, just that I was attesting to, like, the power that music had. Like, it was just so good.
True.
Should I give insight first right now or wait till the end of it?
Honestly, we can pause throughout, like, your verse if there's, like, something you really wanted to point out, or we can just wait till the end.
No.
Okay.
Just wait till the end. I'll get it.
All right. Similarly, this bridge was me playing with the idea of it being the hook. I didn't really love it. It was a little simple, so I tossed it over to the bridge, or, like, you know, that intro section.
Those bongos are the Hotline Bling bongos.
Very Hotline Bling, very hit up my phone, baby, or pick up the phone, baby, whatever the hell. Let's go. Woo! Let's go. Hey. Hey, hey. Let's go. Medicine beer. All right, let's explain that. So,
Me and Dax have had the same bar unintentionally.
That's right. Camo and I seem to land on that Ben Gay line without any connection, really. But I mean, I get it. It's like an easy flip, right?
Ben Gay.
And then on top of that, that 4-bar doesn't come out of nowhere. You know, in dealing with Shorty, I realized that we were beginning to open up in a sexual way, and that this was something that she could weaponize, in that, like, and not that it was inherently bad, but, you know, I rather, like Chris said, I'd rather be getting some than getting none. And, like, you know, she knew what to do. So, like, hit my sore ends, and, you know, for sore spots you get Bengay or whatever. And that last line is based in reality. I mean, Shorty was being so open, like, all of a sudden, that she even had encounters with some of her friends that led her, you know, to get a little bi-curious for a bit. And honestly, while that's not supposed to be a random factoid, it's almost to attest to the fact that maybe her sick shape is as sick as I'm saying, or whatever, right? That it's even kind of enticing her friends a little bit, so.
Dark.
Okay, yeah. That's right. I love doing the part of the hook again in the verse, kind of just tying it all together. That's right. I do what I say what I do, or whatever the hell Camo always ruins that line to be.
Yeah, I did what I say what I do.
Yeah. Continuity. Whoops, I just muted it. Boom. That's right. Find love, I'm needing a sleuth. No. 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 And yeah, that part's a little sad too. I mean, very real. Really questioning the morality of all of this. Like, for one, on my religious side, like, is God okay with me, like, just like going around doing this, messing with women's? Maybe not. And then on top of that, just that, honestly, I don't even really believe in love. I don't know if that's true today, but it's definitely something that I felt at the time. Where like, yeah, I'm not even in it for that. I'm just out here trying to release some stress. You feel me? So, there's a little bit of a conflict in my head, as you'll see in these next two lines. Nah, because
I gave you all I had. I don't need the love, I just need the bed. I just need the head, only need the tax, but I need the signs, only need the nag. You see for myself is in the night, but I don't need that person, maybe I regret. Frankly, not handing no last names. Baby, you're only my past.
That's right.
Frankly, not handing no last names. Baby, you're only my past blame. I did what I said I would do.
Woo!
Did what I said I would do. I did what I said I would do.
Did what I say.
Did what I said I would do.
Did what I say.
Frankly, not handing no last names. Baby, you're only my past blame. Frankly, I'm tired of these games.
Shout out to D-Trey.
Bitches be thotting just for fame. Drugs just to ease away the pain. Swear I
Cannot trust these dames.
no love, I hop on no time to explain. I'm on a mission for gains. I once knew a girl, don't know what she became. She was struggling to walk, so I was her cane. The client was keeping her same. Told her vent to me, girl, tell me every complaint. And I'm listening cause I care for your claims. But now she barely even thinks of my name.
I don't know why.
But it hurts so
bad.
I could go
Back.
and take everything
Back.
then I would, yeah, I would if I could. And it's that my broken sister first go to take back what she asked. Now I'm past that. I'm on that
Only hit my line for the stats. Let's go.
working on my heart like I'm dead.
That's right.
Baby girl, you were just a flame from the past.
Amazing re-entry.
Baby, you're only my past blame. Frankly, not handing no last names. Baby, you're only my past blame. I did what I said I would
Did what I
do. Did what I said I would do.
did what I say.
Did what I said I would do. Did what I said I would do. Frankly, not handing no last names.
Bring that bridge back.
You're only my past blame.
Don't even ask me what I was saying there. All I know is I was complaining about something.
You love me.
What was that little like very soft radio thing there? The bridge. I mean, yeah. Now that I think about it, very interesting, right? There's no loving me. There's no love in me. There's no love for me.
No.
And to be clear, this is something that
do what I said, what I do.
all right,
I'm sorry.
you want to perform it? It's not an open mic, nigga. All right, wait your turn. It's in-
Superman's is the Moopa Sands. He did what he said. What he do?
Yeah.
So, I mean, yeah, the bridge is what it is. Wait, no, am I done with the bridge? Oh no, yeah, right. What I was trying to say is I tried looking for a note, but I couldn't find it. Basically, this song actually started as an idea where that was it started as an idea. The idea itself started when I was in church. I was mad distracted, and I was like in the back. I mean, no one was even really like watching me. I was on my phone, and I was just thinking, like, in times of like idleness, I would just think about, hey yo, Dax, how we doing with this girl situation again? And just like kind of like reinvesting myself mentally, like, yeah, so we got this going on, we got that going on, because it's sort of like gossiping with myself, right? Like keeping myself entertained by kind of remembering what is even going on. And then something I realized as I brought out my phone and brought out the notes app and started typing just how I felt, was that like, I don't know, sure, I could feel bad, but maybe I don't, and you won't make me feel bad. Because ultimately, like, that love part just isn't even a factor for me. And that all culminates in this line of, like, you know, not needing love and just needing all, like, the sexual favors, even social favors of needing the text, because maybe I use her because I'm just lonely and I don't want to commit, but if she stays around, like, whatever, like, I'll get that out of her, that, like, she's just company to me, which, you know, it felt even selfish to me at the time. And even this aspect too of used you for selfies on the net, like, even in terms of my social presence, like, if I get to post her or post me with her, like, there's some sort of status that I gain from that, you know. And that's like, that might as well be money, like, because you can't just get that for free. You don't just look taken when you're not. So yeah, there was a lot that came to mind with that. I mean, any thoughts on the song as a whole or BZANXX's performance?
I got some
BZANXX
thoughts.
carried.
Okay. Peace.
No cap, he the greatest for a reason. I'm telling y'all, bro.
So
That's the one.
I do want to, you know, contribute a bit because I am on the song. And I won't really go in.
Sucks.
Okay.
Huh?
He thinks it sucks.
His verse was bad.
Yeah.
My verse was bad.
Sorry, Lex, what did you say? Oh, you're just a dirty, stinky, stupid
Anyways,
liar.
I'm not here to comment on the quality of the verse or anything, but I do just want to give, because I have my the genius notes on explaining everything I believe. This is like the only song I did it for.
Also, for
DAX,
everyone in the chat, I don't actually think BZANXX's verse was bad.
Right. Or did I not?
You did.
Called a dirty, stupid, stinky liar.
We can go over that real quick if you want.
I did. Yeah. So I did my little annotations or whatever. That's not important to me. You can read those. I guess I really am a nav clown. I like how you highlighted that. But I wanted to, you know, give a tidbit of information because Dax started the stream with saying that, you know, Heartificial EP Volume 2 was when he started to meet the Community folk, and, you know, we started collaborating a lot. This is the first song that I ever did with Dax. Turned out great. Only problem that I ever had with it was I think I tried to send him my tag, which, as some people may know, I don't know if anyone watching knows, but it's Good Boy. And I think I sent him that, and he was like, no. And then he got D-Tray to say Bizarre is a problem, which is the worst tag you could ever possibly fucking have. But other than that, I really do like my delivery. I wish my mic was better at the time. It wasn't. I couldn't fix that really.
It sort of fits.
Yeah, the delivery's fine. He added the bit crusher. That's when the fucking DAX BZANXX only using bit crusher when I'm on a DAX song trend started. And, you know, I just try to play off of a lot. It's a lot easier for me to make a song or a verse when somebody already has a concept established. Yeah. And so frankly, I'm tired of these games playing off of, you know, frankly, not handing out last names.
Yeah.
And then getting to the end of it where I try to loop it back around.
With the flame from the past.
Mm-hmm. And, and it ended up turning out great. Camo's favorite BZANXX DAX song.
Yeah, honestly, that's like the first. That's the first BZANXX DAX song, and that's the only BZANXX DAX song.
That's not true.
False. We actually have a whole project of that coming up.
Actually, 2.
Yeah.
Actually, just 2 more.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree with everything you said there, Bizarre. I think you nailed it. You definitely brought something that I didn't in some specific instances, at least like thematically. You have a bigger knack for things like harmonies, not even just layering, but specifically the musical act of harmony. That kind of like showed up here. And of course, definitely love how you ended that verse, which really segues into the hook.
One more thing. I had known Dax for approximately 4 days, and I said I've been working on my art like I'm Dax, just because I knew that he likes art.
That was interesting. Yeah. I remember hearing that and thinking, I mean, is he a fan? Is that, I don't know if he, but you know, like, it's cool that he referenced it.
Observe you.
Yeah. Oh, and to dispel the tag situation, I'm pretty sure, like, honestly, my memory is terrible, so, like, sure, maybe I'm wrong. But I'm pretty sure it was mostly because there was some sort of confusion, not even necessarily on your end, but some sort of confusion concerning like when the tag was sent. Like maybe it was like a while ago before some of the files were exchanged or some of the lyrics or some talk we had in between. And then what had happened was that we were in conversation on Discord and BZANXX did something and D-Tray was like, BZANXX's a problem. Like he like remarked on that. And I was like, yo, that should be a tag. And yeah, I definitely got swept away by just like that notion. And that's how that ended up like that. Just because that nigga said that once. So yeah.
And ruined my branding for
forever.
Eternity.
Real quick. I hate to do this. I have to go.
Okay.
I forgot I have work at 8 o'clock in the morning.
That's pretty
I haven't
late.
slept at all. So I'm going to go.
All right, Lex. Well, thanks for stopping by for at least half of it. So.
Well, of course. I would have liked to have heard Bizarre Daxman because that's...
You mean DAXLING and the BZANXX?
That one.
Yes.
Sure.
But it's funny.
Oh, wait. Right. Today was not the good one. I mean, anyway,
Damn.
I'll talk to you guys later.
Woo! All right. Spoilers.
All right. Good night, guys.
Good night, man.
Let's transition into the next song here. True, though, featuring Luvacha.
Oh, that said Luv the Chub.
Luv the Chubs. Part of the
King
Chubbs
Chubb.
family. Yeah. Chubbs the beatdown.
Yeah, like Sonic the Hedgehog, Luv the Chubs.
Let's go.
Hit her on the snap, then I roll. Me and TV Joe, we got the code. Shorty thinks it came to the coast. Brothers are the same when I boast. Sometimes you feel like the head honcho. Sometimes you cry too much, need a poncho. I need some answers, I need them pronto. Fact of the matter is, you don't know. Here's the pain I got. When it comes to your mind, don't it change a lot? Your heart's a danger spot, and that remains the plot. It seems insane to say, but are you taking that? Yeah, you may be fake from what data got. Please, no other brother with this steez. I heard the barrel of hit keys. Why you such a tease? You gon' make me lose my mind. Mixing signals, fusing signs. Baby girl, is this for real? You gon' make me lose my mind. We'll consider it the moment you should have been. True though, I see a true tone. I'm a soul man like the Blues Bros. I want the truth, my stomach new though. True though, I see a true tone.
I think Lou rips his verse.
Like the Blues Brothers, show your true colors. The truth, my stomach new though.
Bad bitch, smooth skin cocoa. Woke up in the club with the polo. But I like 'em white too, do the most though. Asian broad twerk for me in Kyoto. Hold up, slow it down for a minute, man. Shawty throw it down for a minute, damn. Look, baby, I'm so focused on the bands, but I had to take a scan and I need you in my plans. Haven't felt this good in a minute. You attracted to the boy, just admit it. See you flipping when I walk up in the premise. Pretty soon you'll be giving me the digits. Asian broads, need them all. Race the meat is still too cold to thaw. Hit the reefer, had to slap my visa. Now I got the booze sipping while I tease 'em, man.
Snapped. Love that. Some remarks so far. I mean, my verse, it's fine. It does what it needs to. I mean, it's about like kind of what's going on in the song. I think I like the idea for the pre-chorus. Might have needed somebody else's hand on handling like how that was mixed, really. Hook's fine. I like the hook. Louv snaps, but I actually want to put you guys on to some lore here. Louv was not the person planned to be on this song. It was actually Lay Real. In fact, I even like advertised the track list with him on it initially and had to correct it with Louv later on. And this is actually referenced in the song in a very subtle way. Louv and I were making fun of the fact that this man did not come through and he didn't want to do a song that was entirely up his alley, which we found kind of strange. And we were like, you know what? Louv, you're going to be on it. I know you'll snap. And then when Louv sent me the verse, I noticed some references to Lay Real. Now, I'm not going to highlight something that says Lay Real way or something. In fact, the reference is a lot more subtle than that. And for that, we need to go to a different artist's page. Anybody a fan of Peso Pete? If we go to one of his projects, particularly Trouble in Paradise 2,
Oh no.
specifically the song Get Up Out My Face featuring Lay Real, we'll notice a few things about Lay Real's contribution to this song. that. This song, Jesus Christ.
Hey, get up on my face, boy, stop it. Hey, what? You can't face me or the real, you ain't poppin'. Hey, stop it, huh? Yo, get up on my face, boy, stop it, huh? Whoa, hey, your girl in my brain, playing boxing, ho. Talk to
Right
me,
here.
hold up.
Asian broads, need them all. Whole harem, school days, home ec, feed them all. Sashimi, I'm too raw.
That's right.
No full roll, I'm 414, yes, I school, stop that send up.
Whatever. But yeah, he does that. Asian broads need them all right there with their raise the meters too cold to thaw. That's Louvre referencing the fact that Lay Real did that on that song. And not even just because he felt like stealing Lay Real lyrics or cadences. It's because my hot take about this song is that I love it, but Lay Real's verse sucks on it. So Louvre wanted to kind of like honor that and just throw it in there or whatever. I consider rated. I made it.
True though, I see a true tone. I'm a soul man like the Blues Bros. I want the truth, my son new though.
Actually, I just realized I skipped a part of the song. We'll just jump back, but it's this bridge right here. Whoops. This is the pre-chorus and then the verse and then the end. That's right.
Always love your hips and your shape. Now I'm just a hip to your game. Feeling like a waste man to your place, fam. Everybody in the man jam, come my taste bag. Girl, you say I keep you dreaming, but only you give me up. So just take that one however you want. The same as I'm. You gon' make me.
Yeah, that's that song.
I'm a soul man like the Blues Bros. I want the truth, my son new though. True though. I see a true tone. I'm a soul man like the Blues Brothers. Show your true colors, truth, my son new though.
Has anything changed since 2015?
Yeah, so that last voice clip is my man's Jennifer saying, has anything changed since 2015? Which, of course, is when the last Heartificial volume dropped, 2015. Which is to say, are things that even that different besides just new experiences or whatever? Aren't you just the same old DAX? I mean, if you want, you can look into it that much, but yeah. Any thoughts on that? On that song?
Fucking garbage.
Okay.
Nah, I'm joking. You know, I agree with you on the part where you should have talked to somebody about mixing that chorus, or actually the pre-chorus. And then Louverture saying Asian broads twice really made me question what the fuck he was going through. But now that you explained it, it's pretty funny.
Hell yeah. Yeah, I'm a fan of the song. Like, I can get used to how weird the pre-chorus is. Undoubtedly not like the highlight of the song, but yeah, it's just kind of like a little bop. The house beat knocks, I think.
Pretty groovy.
Yee.
I can get jiggy with this shit.
All right. Are you 45 years old? The next song is Corazon 808. Let's get it.
I got a secret just for me to say. I've known for a while we should run away.
All right, immediately. There's already something to touch on. Yeah. That's.
I actually really dislike this song.
Oh yeah. We can get into why.
I think Tim is cute, so.
So that's sort of a reference to what this song is spiritually. It's sort of a spiritual successor to Runaway on the first joint, in that in spirit they both share an intense desire to get away. It's almost like a declaration track of like, listen, I've got to tell you, I love you, and I actually love you too much. In fact, we might have to get out of here. You might be the one. And yeah, that's kind of that's where we're at.
Like when you look just wild cute the other day, one way or the aisle, you kill me when you smile, move slow, grooving to our own tempo. New rings just to let them know, baby, no. Late nights we can do dembo. Show me
pero por ejemplo.
I gotta take a moment to remind that you're the MVP. You've done too much for my soul's entire entity. That's why all these other dudes can help but envy me. I shared that shorty's the solution to like every need. Love you by any means.
We could move
to Calabasas. In a room, make all advances. We could move somewhere near Paris, where you stay bit of Louvre. I'll tell your parents. Yeah. I can't fake, I make my way. Make my way to you. Yeah. To you, girl. Go. I can't fake, I make my way. To you, my heart beats. Yeah.
Stayed up all night. These feelings I can't fight. Need you by my side. Want you back like all the time.
Let's go.
I can't forget, make my way.
To you, go.
Quick pause. Yeah. So right now we're damn near at the end of the first half of the song, as previously mentioned by Camo. Yeah, I like my verse really on the nose in terms of the theme, and I actually like the hook in principle, I think. But of course, a part that definitely seems dented in terms of like, we'll just say quality and execution, is Sim's bridge. Now, for the benefit of the doubt, I don't know if this is entirely Sim's fault. Part of me wonders that if the person that I am today, knowing how Antares works today and all that, and my knowledge of music, if I would have pulled some strings and did some things to really nail her pitch correction. But all in all, I can also attest to what I received from her being sort of difficult to work with in that regard, for at least this section. So yeah, I mean, it kind of, you know, taints the song a little bit, undeniably. I love the beat. I love the beat, and I love what I provide, and I like how she sounds with me on the hook a decent amount. But it's hard to shake off that feeling that bridge was not done as well as it could have been.
Yeah, it was a solid bad.
Yeah. So here we're going to transition over and notice the lyrics in the break.
Oh, just another runaway.
That's right. That's right.
There's no going back for me. There's no going back for. There's no going back for.
Funky as hell.
There's no going back for. There's no going back for me. There's no going back for. There's no going back for me.
Let's go.
Life together wanna do. Life is better and it's true. I just set up to get over and forever meeting you. There's no. I said I won't believe in love.
Okay.
Whatever this is, it's enough. It's only me and you and us. Breathe like any human does. Respira es tu verdad.
Okay. Love that. I'll say my intent in including the second beat was to continue and preserve the bounce from the first half. But of course, it's a little more lively, right? And less lounge. To really bring in that 808 idea. Of course, there's another 808. There's no going back because I ran away. Love that there's no leading nowhere, like in terms of a lyric. Totally an intent. And I mean, I remember I thought it was genius at the time. And also, something worth noting that I said I won't believe in love, but whatever this is, it's enough. Which shows some sort of development throughout the project in that, like, yeah, I mean, on Past Flame, I was just talking about how that wasn't a factor for me. But at this point, I meet up with somebody who makes me sort of, you know, distance myself from that idea, because whatever it is that I'm in the middle of, I love it. So, you know, I'm enjoying it at the fullest. And for those of you that were here for the 72 review, that we did earlier in this review week. Breathe like any human does, respira es tu verdad, should hit a little different, given that on that album, something that was commonly repeated when talking about love from my parents, love among my parents, and love between me and my future wife was the idea of respira mi vida being a sort of love thing. So just kind of a cute nod to that. Let's go into the hook one more time, and then we got some Sam and Yeet. Let's go, Sam. Let's go.
Rose.
I'll give some creative freedom there. What do I even say here at the end? Not that part.
If I told you why you shouldn't, you'd believe me. If I told you why you'd leave me, you would.
Okay. Yeah, I remember why the hell I... wait, let me play that one more time.
If I told you why you shouldn't, you'd believe me. If I told you why you'd leave me, you would.
That delivery could have been better.
Oh, totally. But what was the crux of that? If I told you why you shouldn't, you'd believe me. And if I told you why you'd leave me, you would? I don't even know. There's something there. I mean, there was something I was wrestling with at the time about, like, the girl in question kind of being right. If she thought there was a problem between us, like, I mean, if I even show a hint of, like, you being right, you might just dip. So, I don't know if I want
That makes sense.
Yeah.
If we're in agreement, then yeah.
So, but yeah. You had some thoughts about the song? Definitely.
I do.
Yeah.
Yeah, that bridge really like made that song not
Drop.
a bop for me.
Yeah.
You know, Sim, as creative and a good singer as she is, at times she doesn't take the time. And I'm saying this because I'll say it to her as well. She knows some of the stuff that I'm about to say is, as an artist back then, 2 years ago, she really was just doing cover songs or whatever. She never really studied a DAW, you know, found out how to, you know, work with pitch correction or, you know, follow a key. Like, she's a really good natural singer, but when it comes to keys and stuff, she didn't really know what to do. So, yeah, if you had a better understanding of Antares at that time, I'm pretty sure maybe you could have fixed it, but
Some
I
carrying.
understand where you're, yeah, I understand where you're coming from, where you say, you know, well, it was already difficult to work with type deal. And in the latter half, as you always fucking say, when you gave her creative freedom.
On Rose, you're saying?
What?
Okay, just go ahead and say what you're saying.
You said you gave her creative freedom at one part or something like that.
Yeah, the Rose line.
Yeah. I mean, it's cool, I guess, but, you know, I don't think that she was ready for the leash to be off at that time. I'm not trying to, you know,
for the
weird.
okay. So wait, so is that your way of saying that the Rose pronunciation like throws you off?
Play it back real quick.
Okay.
Yeah,
it does.
Rose.
Rose, bro.
It's Rose. I'm pretty sure.
No, it is. It's almost a rapper of her. I mean, I don't know if it was intentional or not, but I read it as like, yo, I mean, when people like pronounce a word sort of like how you don't usually say it, or you can go as far as to say it's wrong, but like it's still obviously based off of the spelling of the word. It can be clever, especially if intentional. But you know, I don't know.
Yeah.
I see what you're saying.
And it does throw me not even the pronunciation of it, but like sipping on. I mean, I don't know. It kind of fits because it's like a funky-esque thing, but like
the cadence, you're saying?
Yeah, the cadence does throw me off a bit, but it fits a little.
Okay.
It's just
Well,
weird.
that's an interesting place to be, right? Where it's like it throws me off a little, but it fits a little. So I don't know.
I give it 5 taco shells.
All right, out of 72.
Whatever that system is. My jam time.
My jam. So we close off this project, right, with almost like starting where we or ending where we started, and that I would love to get back to Cielo Mio days, but I kind of have to beg my way back, with the Mike Jam featuring Detox. Rejected Hook.
Oh, I'm gonna message you something.
Okay. Woo-ha!
Well, I see you in the morning. Sunrise is your thing. And you know I'm always learning. Fix the bridges I was burning. What you saying, girl? Feeling nana. I ain't playing though, you're saying nana. What you saying, girl? Cause there ain't no other way for me. Got me saying nana.
Perfect. Love that part.
Yeah, I'm stuck. Got me thinking maybe that's enough. Okay. Cool, smart, dangerous. Some other shorties they can hang with us. This breakup had me cantankerous, but only you know how painful to us. I shouldn't even feel rancorous. There's just nothing I would change for us. If I'm thinking about you in the morning, it's true. Don't know what I got till it's gone.
Shout out that harm. Late, man. That's right. Let's go. I'm bopping.
Don't know what I got till it's gone. Just hope we'll dance next song. Get it, girl. Okay, lately I've been thinking you like hate me too. Girl, you make me move like 80s grooves. Hey, I tell you dudes, I'm crazy too.
Babe.
Girl, you make me move like 80s grooves.
I love this. The consideration.
If I'm thinking about you in the morning,
That's right.
don't know what I got till it's gone. Just hope we'll dance next song. Get it, girl. Okay, lately I think it's like case review. I hate me too. Girl, you make me move
Let's go.
like 80s grooves. Hey, I tell you dudes, I'm crazy too. Girl, you make me move like 80s grooves.
Let's go.
Just like case review. I hate me
Hey,
too.
oh yeah, this shit hot.
Yes.
Overall, great project.
Mang. And that closes out that album. A desire of mine for the longest time. Hey, shout out Jordan. For
Late.
He late as hell, believing his input. I appreciate it either way. Closing out the album with My Jam. I'll tell you right now, I don't love that it's named that. But apparently Spotify did. and they got a couple of plays just from being such a generic name. But past that, in terms of how I handle this song, it's obviously a rapper ass nigga trying to do like a Calvin Harris song, right? Or like a Bruno Mars song or whatever the hell. Because, you know, in my approach, there's still dubs, there's still like ad libs and whatnot, which is almost funny. But, you know, it doesn't really sell the song short in any notable way. Yeah, I mean, the song's pretty tight. I'm glad that chorus is as safe as it is vocally, because what it does is it really makes you focus on the lyrics, since there's some time for it to loop. On that case-by-case review, I'd hate me too. Meaning I admit, girl, like, you got it. I've messed up. But, you know, the 80s groove thing, and I'll pay my daily dues because I'm crazy too. It's all an offering. It's all like an idea of proposal. Have you thought a thought about it? Because, yeah, I'm sort of screwed, but, I mean, you might take a chance on me. I think I literally had a moment like this where, did I see her in the morning? Sunrise is a sure thing with Shorty. Honestly, I'm at a point in my life where I don't remember if the song came before that specific instance and it felt like fate through my hand, or if it was art imitates life where that happened before the song and I had to capture that. But most likely the former. But either way, tied to a very powerful moment in my life. An overall bop. I love Detox's performance. He really took it and ran with it, to be fair. But someone brought up Detox as a suggestion, in that if I wanted to do a song sort of like Slide by Calvin Harris with the Migos and this man Frank Ocean, Detox would kind of be the Migos that I needed, at least in terms of like a voice, in that he would provide that sort of contrast to what I was doing. And yeah, I think it kind of worked. And I'm proud of that. I don't know if you guys have any thoughts on that song, but if not, I can give some thoughts on the project as a whole as we wrap this up. For that,
I got one on the song.
Yep.
That is the second best song on the album or EP.
Ah, okay. Go ahead.
Girl, What You Doing is just such a standout song entirely. Wasn't it? Did you release it as a single first or no?
No.
No, it was the last thing you added. Yeah, it was because it was just so shocking. It had great shock value and it was really good.
Okay, so it was a moment almost.
Yeah, so it was a moment, and but My Jam is definitely like one of your best closers on an album. So, yeah.
Okay, yeah, no, I can agree with a lot of that mindset. Girl, what you're doing being totally up there, and My Jam being up there as well. Yeah, and in terms of the project, I mean, especially as I think about how I want to rank this, you're gonna have to catch us on stream, but I'm thinking in my head, there's no way anything tops this, because regardless of, oh no, this song doesn't even have a concept, bro, like in terms of like it secretly being about like Dynasty Warriors or about like the Book of Revelations or something, like it's nothing that deep, but it's an album about love with enough substance, I think, right? Both substance in that like I'm sharing some things about my love experiences, and also substance in that, you know, there's sort of some theming going on here, right? On the track list, you got certain words capitalized. You have like the full gamut of the spectrum of love, both in visual form and in the sort of like song topics that I'm talking on, you know, both the good and the bad of that. Several styles even, you know, I'm inspired by like Drake, Travis Scott, you know, Young Thug, some lo-fi stuff, some house stuff, some like loungy boppy stuff, some pop stuff, cloud rap.
Capitalized 808, bro.
Yeah, I capitalized 808. Yeah, I would love to see 808 in lowercase,
Yeah.
lowercase numbers.
Look, Mio, me, woke. What you doing? Skip, flame, though. 808.
Jam.
Jam.
So yeah, it's for nothing besides aesthetics, but it is something that I played with.
It's just an aesthetic.
And ultimately, yeah, no, I think the Heartificial EP Volume 2 goes at number 1 because it's just consistent. It's consistently good, and the level that it is consistently good at, I feel confident at any point to hand this to somebody and be like, listen, I'm just a young nigga with potential. And look at where my potential is right now. This stuff, a lot of it could work on several sorts of radio, right? And I think I captured it. I captured that intent pretty well and executed it pretty well as well. So, I mean, it has to go at number 1 for me. So the new list, starting from number 9, Begin the Legend. Number 8 is Heartificial EP 1. Number 7 is 72. Number 6 is Future Fantasy. 5, AVR. Number 4 is Done Dreaming. 3 is Bliss Plus Blunder. Number 2 is All Rain. And at number 1 for now, the Heartificial EP Volume 2.
Have to wait on the volume 2 though, no cap.
You mean on the volume 3? You mean?
Nah, this is fucking. They had to wait on it, bro. They had volume 1 for so long, bro.
That's right. They were sitting on it, and then boom, 3 years later,
boom, you finally got the sequel that no one thought they needed.
Exactly. I didn't even promise that to anybody, as you saw with the first one. It's not called volume anything, because that wasn't really the point.
It's just the first one.
I wanted to go through some art stuff here, since it's a big part of what goes into my projects. Something interesting to note is that the volume 1 has its cover art, which is that same heart logo that I made, but it's over a light background, right? So to play off of it when doing a volume 2, what I decided to do was to do it over a dark background, just to sort of
simplify it.
And simplify it, exactly. As to give it some parallelism. Believe me, I know exactly what I would do for the third, but we're not gonna get there just yet.
Yeah, a rainbow. And then in the middle is just nigga.
And oh, I know what you're referencing. I love that the red here has a new subtle touch of it, like glowing like neon. You can see more of the branding there. All the cover art's in spectrum order. Kind of went over this, talk to me, trying to keep things all together. 72 waking up, that blur of like, the spark between two people and Girl What You Doing, the pulse for Heart Skip, the literal fire for Past Flame, that beat side, pull side, true though vibe, the Corazon 808 with the flowers, pure romanticism, and my jam in the setting you expect by something trap caro.
I have a comment.
I bet.
You may have already touched on it, but I was gone, little bio break. But for the simplifying it up, to me also looks like cleaning it up. Back when you did Heartificial 1, a lot of the feelings that you were dealing with, it was all like cluttered, it's all muddy. You're dealing with it, and it's kind of like you don't know how to cope with it yet.
Sure.
But when you get to Heartificial 2, it's more like, I understand what's going on, and I'm having these conversations at church with myself just to remind myself that this is the life that I'm living in. This is my reality right now. It's a lot more clear to you, but you still have to go through it.
There's a better handle on it, I guess, this time
around.
Sure. I do enjoy that. For those of you that don't know, there were free verses released at the beginning and the end of the promotional cycle. The banners for it. Shout out to Elsa Hosk, the inspiration for that project.
For being hot.
Visually, for literally just being a muse. Down to some other works, 214, Save That Date, A Date, I'd love that. And yeah, that's Heartificial EP Volume 2. I've already ranked it. It's number 1 for now, Bizarre.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, my bot tweeted out niggas a while ago.
There's nothing more accurate than that, I think.
Camo quote right there.
Yeah. Up next, goddamn, I don't know how, but we're almost done. That's why let me see here. I want to be able to share this with you guys too, because I don't want to leave the world of Heartificial just yet. I got some notes for you on Evernote. This is the hub note. I do this with a lot of my projects where there's a central note where I kind of put a track list, who I plan on having on there, like sorting my ideas and sound and themes and all that, the features, all that. So you know, I had the gradient here, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna do what song for what color, you know, and deciding all of that, and like checking them off when I finished that work. Scrapped songs. These aren't real titles, but there's Cardi Whisper, which was on some like Cardi ass like beat. I wanted to brag about something. Milk Boom Bap. Something about chances and wanting you back, which I think my jam did plenty of. The features, when they all, you know, turned those joints in. The themes that I'd be talking on, so I really knew that I wasn't, you know, retreading my stuff. And some more of that explanation up here, and really checking when everybody was done with whatever they needed to do. Just some metadata stuff. Yeah. So that's that.
I do have a comment on just praising you.
Yeah.
We've all said this for like ever since we met DAX, but you know, when it comes to projects, like DAX does that shit. Like we see an insight into the Evernote every now and then, because you'll have it like pulled up and we'll see it. But you know, a lot of us back then weren't doing that. Like when it came to projects, you know, we just go and do whatever.
Yeah.
But you know, when you actually put the time and effort in to plan out what you're actually going for, what the feel you want it to be, and so you don't just say the same shit on different tracks, it actually works out a lot better. And I just now started doing that, and Dax was doing this 2 years ago, probably even before that, because of Evernote is fucking
yeah, it's ancient. I mean, it's there since Begin the Legend. Obviously the songs on there were still some cut, but it's a skill that even in being organized, that's a skill you have to hone. Like, you know, making sure that it's worth it. So
now that he's organized and a good artist,
it definitely pays off.
Very good projects.
Right. Yeah, and I don't take that compliment lightly. Nerd. Next up, we've got DAXLING in the BZANXX. What a silly title. Shout out to Jaywalk. Yeah, I mean, the description is so poignant. It's DJ Dax and Bazaar with a Darling in the Franxx themed EP. For those of you that don't know, yeah, go ahead.
I want to get backstory too, but go ahead. You first.
I mean, yeah, no, just very, very standard stuff. I mean, Darling in the Franxx. I always almost call it DAXLING in the BZANXX just by instinct, but Darling in the Franxx, anime show that came out rather recently. In fact, relatively just about 2 years ago. It had been recent at the time, and we were on it. We were catching it, you know, as it rolled out, you know, that simulcast business. And it eventually became something for me that I loved to hate, and for Bazaar something for him to love and then love to hate. And it was interesting because it was proof of something, right? Something that we've already alluded to earlier, which is that I was making some new friends with some other people in the community kind of coming together. And part of that was that a lot of people in the community, and of course like the community and extended community, we all paid attention to the show. You know, we're, you know, slightly video game attentive, anime retentive people, and when Studio Trigger and A1 Pictures collaborate to make an anime that has cute pink-haired girls and mech fights, we just had to tune in and see what was up. You know, there's a lot going for that, and we did, and we felt certain ways about it at different times, but ultimately we felt inspired, and we made this, you know, cute little 4-track EP for y'all. Yeah, go ahead.
I have a few words.
I
will say that first of all, rest in peace, Rabbit. I miss them so much that they allowed us to do a lot that we cannot do with the current other shared streaming platforms or whatever. I will say I'm gonna give y'all a little sauce.
Okay.
Because I just want to let y'all know that this EP kind of solidified me and Dax's friendship.
Yeah.
So y'all get a little mushy a bit.
Dating relationship.
Yeah, our dating relationship. Before this, the only other song that we had did was Past Flame. I don't think I ever had you on any tracks before doing DAXLING the BZANXX. But we chilled in Rabbit. We watched it. We were like, oh, we should do this. We ended up doing that. But I will say this to the people who are, new to any communities or anything like that, man. You gotta find friends. You gotta build bonds. That's how that's how you get, I guess, the good music out. That's how you bring the best out of yourself and other people, is to collaborate with people who are like-minded and stuff like that. So that's pretty much it.
And in this review week, there's actually 3 examples of that sort of thing with DAXLING the BZANXX, Bizarre Dax Man, and the Hot Niggas tape most recently, where it ultimately, I could take the time and focus and be on my Evernote and stuck in my room and really thinking in the shower and in bed and whenever about all these like grand concepts and really grind it out and make some excellent music. But also sometimes what happens is just vibing and feeding off of the energy of the people you have around you, and simply having fun with that, and that can often lead to its own kind of great music. And I think that's what we're gonna get into right now with DAXLING the BZANXX and its first song, No Other Way, produced by Oddwin and a little bit of input by DJ Dax, whoever that is. Travis?
I sound like Gunner, right?
Yep. All right.
You look at my wrist, oh my, the hero like I'm hero girl. I see no other way.
The Big Crush is back.
I got black as always.
Get your mans, in the bands, into the bands, got a trance, in the franks, in the dance, in my stance, I got plans, get your mans.
Crazy hook.
I've got comments.
Okay. I'll pause right here. Hit me.
All right. So when Dax first sent this reference over to me,
yeah,
I had heard it and I was like, what the hell is that chorus? Like, I've never heard somebody do something like that.
It felt like you damn near hated it.
I did hate it at first. And it was because I couldn't really, I won't say I was ignorant and couldn't understand it, but basically that was it. I was like, I don't know where he's going with this. Like, this is not like normal, right?
Yeah.
But then it started to grow on me, and I'm like, no, that shit's actually like hard as hell, and also hard to perform. I don't know if any of you can stay on key and do and like that's hard to do.
Yeah.
Like, I tried it. Trust me, it's not easy. So, that's all I wanted to say about that.
Yeah, no, totes. And I'll admit, it is something that might be hard to get into on first listen because it's in a pocket, like a space of the beat that people don't really like hit their syllables there all the time. So it comes off a little weird. It's like whenever you listen to grime, you're like, is he off beat? I think he is, but it's like no, they just be in pockets that you don't frequent. So, but yeah, I love that hook. Let's bring it back. You don't gotta
say I love you anyway. I see your tears from miles away. I fight your fears while you
them harms.
Yeah. No Morty, I might pull up in some rigs. Finesse a nigga, bitch. That's a partner switch. She think I'm so sweet. Give
So
her
hard,
honey
by the way.
dick. Yeah. How can I die now if I was born with this shit? How she love me now?
Same. Love me as a chick.
She claims she ain't feel shit when we had our first kiss.
That's right.
I'm on the bigger things, turn that into this. Dax and Bizarre can show you how to make a hit.
Love that verse.
Let me tell you about Bizarre's infatuation with turning things into something, bro. He turned
Go
that
ahead.
into this, and he went from nobody to somebody.
He's on to bigger
I'm not
things.
just-
I see you, bro.
I could explain the nobody to somebody. I'm not just anybody, but it's not my stream.
That's right.
But I will say that if you guys didn't catch it, the finesse a nigga bitch, that's a partner switch, was one of my favorite lines to say, because like in that anime, dude, it's something that goes on between characters, where, you know, someone's swapped out for a partner, and it didn't go over so well with the guy that, you know, was left with a new partner that he didn't want, type shit.
Yeah, and those pairings usually felt like a sort of relationship, or like, you know, like they were in it for more than just work. And whenever there's a partner switch, you might as well have been cheating or like, you know, defying that whole thing. One of my favorite moments of like learning slang was when I was like, "Yo, Bizarre, are you sure you didn't mean how she loved me now if she didn't love me as a kid? Are you sure that wasn't a typo?"
I remember that.
And you were like, "No, jit, but it actually means kid." So yeah. I was like, "Oh, okay, well, whoops."
I'm not even from Florida. I just love XXX Tentacion. Rest in peace.
That's right.
Can I just say?
Yeah,
that I remember exactly what I was doing when this dropped. The exact thing I was doing.
Okay.
I was on Minecraft mining blocks, doing some dub shit for like hours, and then I remember we got called for the listening party, and my mind was just blown by the hook, by Bizarre's reference to Rick and the partner switch thing.
Yeah.
So hard, like it was just so hard.
No, I bet, and especially because you know, when it comes to Bizarre's own music and my own music, you know, we were both decently new to you, you know, I bet. And with us to, I mean, do another release, another effort, and for it to be together and to be, you know, based on this, I'm sure it was a lot of new stuff at once. And for it to be good, I mean, that's what really brings it all together.
Yeah. These are the boy.
I'd win.
Let's get it.
Good boy.
Man.
That piano was caressing me at the same time, fucking hurting me.
Yeah, what an outro. I think no spoilers, but that ending, did I keep it secret from you?
You keep a lot of shit secret from me.
Okay.
I don't remember if this is one of those times. I think I had heard everything.
Okay.
Prior to release.
But yeah, it was definitely a big moment in my head when I realized, wait, there's something I can do at the end of this song. Recorded me playing the keyboard, like, so it's definitely not coming through from a MIDI, but it gives it a very gritty and strange sound. And yeah, I mean, relatively peaceful. I also got to say I love the title. I mean, it comes from the hook, of course, but I mean, it's just, I don't know, it's romantic. There's no other way. Next song, 02. One of my proudest moments in, like, branding, by the way, yeah, we're going to put the second song, or we're going to make 02 the second song, just because
idea.
That feels right. No, of course, yes. But, like, that's genius. Like, where else would it go?
Corny, but genius at the same time, I guess.
And look, I'm going to spoil it. No, I'm not gonna spoil it.
Don't spoil it.
I'm gonna have to just bring it back when it comes. But yeah. 02, Prod Rise K, Girder.
Will you be my hero?
Let's go.
Zero to in love with you. What do I do? No time to lose. My zero to my zero to. Will you be my zero to my zero to?
Let's go.
What do I do? No time to lose. My zero to my zero to.
Okay.
Maybe you wanna be darling. Just up on next and I'm calling. Into my ex and I'm stalling. Hop in your first no problem. Honey, I sip on your tonic. The Amy Rose in my Sonic. You swim with that glow. That's kinda stupid because okay, I'm changing the topic. See me hands just how I rock it. Shawty flexing in the scarlet. I don't get this but I forgot it. But here I am making this project. I got all the details on me. Answer iPhone X is only. Only time probably Diabla. She's my only.
All right, 1 second here. Yeah, killer hook. It's damn near like a loop, but it's addicting. Love that for sure, and how it progresses from that halftime version at the beginning to like, you know, the more sped up adequate version. Super good. There's some stuff going here that we'll see as we continue too about how I feel about the show. Like for example, you swim without clothes. That's actually kind of stupid because okay, I'm changing the topic. That was born from like this very specific nitpick I had of like, dude, on the first episode they really had this girl that's supposed to be like a this and a that just go into a pool and swim naked. Like, what was that even about? Like, I was just like already fuming with the show from like episode 1. And you know, even with the mention of I don't get this plot, I forgot it, but here I am making this project. Last thing I wanted to touch on before we continue is this Oni-chan, Pobre Diabla. She's my Oni, huh? Of course, Oni-chan, that's brother, right, in Japanese?
Oni-chan is brother, yeah.
Yi.
Older brother.
So passing reference in that, like, obviously in anime, that's a huge thing. Not even gonna get into that. But Pobre Diabla is Spanish for, like, poor devil. Like, you know, poor thing, but also she's, you know, a devil. And what that ties into is that she's my Oni. 02, I mean, you can attest to this as a Japanese speaker now, that, or, you know, mild Japanese speaker, I'm not going to give you on that. But,
elementary.
Yeah. That the 02 is, I think it's, like, very similar to how you say Oni, or the 2, rather, or 02, actually, I have no idea. So, like, it's like a pun in Japanese.
Yeah.
That her name is 02, but also she's, like, devilish in terms of her design or whatever.
Yeah, because 2 in Japanese is ni.
Yeah.
And, I mean, 0 isn't O, but, you know, putting that in front of the 2 would be kind of like a pun, yeah.
Yeah, like Oni. And, yeah, so that's why I bring in the Pobre Diabla, which is actually, I mean, if you're... Yeah, it's a reference, but I don't need to get into it.
I do want to comment.
Yes.
One, this is my favorite hook that I did on the whole album.
Okay.
Or, sorry, the EP. Ended up being my favorite song for a while too. But I just want to point out that you notice, well, Dax said it at the beginning, is like, you know, I really enjoyed Darling. I think we made this during, like, we hadn't finished it yet.
Correct.
And we made it while we were watching it, and I was still enjoying it. It was my favorite anime at the time. He was loving to hate it. So you'll see me doing, you know, serious kind of, you know, references and bars and everything, and Dax is just fucking tearing it to pieces at points.
Yeah.
So I just find it funny, the conflict there.
No, totally. And honestly, that's something that we, like, spoke about, like, I mean, are we even going to have to be on the same page about this? And honestly, what I embraced ultimately, and him as well, was that no, we didn't have to. Like, it's actually kind of more interesting that our opinions developed and that they were even at opposite ends at certain points. Like this next batch of lines where I'm still not very much on board.
Like her forehead base too horny. Wait, so what's o'clock, Cesar? I'm confused. Hero's lonely, but I ain't seen no emoting. 02 wants to be a shorty, but not just it, okay? Frankly, I'm fitted with it like I'm Joji. PDR, VPs, or go to your homies.
That's right.
Yeah, emerald in her eye. 02 birds gotta fly. 02 cups to the sky. 02, 02, 02. 02 folks gotta try. 02 folks gotta ride. 02 hope you reply.
Up next, iPhone XX. A classic.
Very.
Understatedly so. Here we go.
Wait, can I say something real fast?
Dale. I didn't even pause.
This was my first song of Immunity, like in the being introduced to everybody. This was mine, and I asked to be on this.
Yeah. To get some context, I wanted almost to give it later, but I mean it makes sense now that Jaywalk was not gonna be on this song, like for all intents and purposes. At
all.
Like in fact, I'm not even sure how like the song's existence. Maybe Jaywalk can answer that, but even like came to be known by Jaywalk, but like once it did, it was a matter of like, oh, can I be on the song? And ultimately, the way I took that to answer it, and I think BZANXX did as well, was, well, if it's good enough.
Yeah, that was his test.
Yeah.
That was definitely his test. We were like, hey man, like go hard or like you're not on it.
Yeah.
And he fucking delivered. So
that's the way to go, boys.
And another thing,
yeah.
Dax was like, yo, maybe watch a little bit of the show so you know what you're talking about, kind of. I watched the first episode, didn't even get halfway through, stopped, recorded the verse, and then finished it the next day.
Annoying.
I'm gonna let you know I've only watched YouTube clips of the show.
Okay. I mean, that's fine. You don't really hyper get
say
into
anything
it.
about it.
Yeah. But no spoilers. iPhone XX. I mean, I guess it's something that we could touch on now. BZANXX, do you want to talk on the iPhone X meme?
I guess we are. I was gonna wait till it was finished, but you even noticed it in 02 where DAX goes, answer iPhone X's only.
Yeah.
And this is because, again, this is when Community is basically being formed for real. Like, this is new members being added to the community and everyone working together. And me and Peso had a song because, it was cool to flex, like, money or whatever. And so we had iPhones. And if you didn't have an iPhone, you're basically poor.
Yeah.
And so that was the meme that we had. And then at one point, I was in college. By the way, I'm recording all this in my dorm at the time. And my phone fell off of my lofted ass bed all the way down to the fucking wood flooring, but not before hitting a few walls on the way down. So I broke it. Then I just broke my iPhone X.
How can I flex?
Song that's deleted. Yeah, how can I flex now? I broke it. It's gone. Like so, and we since that song, or even before that, we had an iPhone X bar. But
the meme was around.
Yeah, the meme was around before that, and I'm like, all right. This song, and then that's what kind of like really got the iPhone X meme out there, and we just used it a lot, and it eventually became iPhone XX in this project because we had me on it and Peso, who was a part of the other song.
What I also think is interesting, my experience of the meme, especially as just like an audience member of it for a time, was that it was, like you said, this like almost irrational flex. Like I remember at times like Peso saying like, yo, that audio quality sound crazy as hell. What was that, recorded on like 10 iPhone X's or something? And it's like, that doesn't make any sense. Like, obviously, that's not better than just a studio mic. But it was like behind this notion of like, no, the iPhone X? Do you not know about it? It's like Apple's latest and greatest phone. It doesn't even have a home button. It has like Face ID. Like, it's supposed to be revolutionary. And the big meme behind all that sort of revolution there was just hilarious to me. And it seems so perfect, like fate, that the show was one branded with double X's at the end. And it just felt like an opportunity to be like, well, we're not calling it iPhone X, it's iPhone XX.
XX.
So.
Also, no, I'm kidding.
I said, look here, why does this girl not answer?
Tastes like someone has a secret.
Oh, hello? Wait, that's not what it looks like. I sound like.
I love that white tag.
Yeah, hey, hello? FaceTime darling, you can act calm.
Let's go.
Next anthem, best girl is all me. My chick handsome, this is not sorry. Answering Samsung, nigga, that's not me. Your phone's a puddle, my chick tsunami.
Yes, my chick handsome. Deal with it.
I take handsome, this and I'm sorry. Entering Samsung, nigga, that's not me. Your phone's a bottle, my shit tsunami. Apple Pay, her burrito. Chip or swipe, I don't need those. AirPods blast in every ear hole. iPhone 4, you're my ego. Beats off white, but no Virgil.
Yeah.
White, but no kilos. No screen protector, all screen projector. Play feature films with no B-roll. Don't look at me, when sitting at emoji.
What?
Not my homie, double OG. Miku in that changing scene. Got a booty, not a Sony. ATC Moto OG.
Let's go.
Gotta go eat. Apples Android appetite. Goes up petite. She's an oni. Level is on me.
That's right.
Goes up phony. iPhone for me. Double XL for your zine. Know what I mean?
Love that scheme.
iPhone X by my side.
Let it, dude. It's talking.
I got no reason to hide. I don't witch out from the battle.
Dude, that sounds so different right now.
Make her right. She got an Android, then I
Kick her off of my ride.
Do I seem more human to you now?
Wait, let me answer this real fast.
He doesn't care. Tyrone?
I understand. I'll get it done immediately.
He makes he comes back.
So, for those that can't hear it clearly, what is it that Tyrone's saying, Camo?
Oh, fucking, what I'm saying is,
Tyrone.
come on, bro, just drop Louis Mystic in Japan, bro. Like, honestly, it's just like some insane fan calling me about a song snippet. Drop the song, bro. And then I just added it here because, you know, he's hitting me up on my iPhone X.
And it's a perfect marriage of one of our previous collaborations, the fact that we were on Run It Up together, your song. And, you know, a meme was born in that, the whole Leuven Mystic in Japan thing, being like an answer to literally any question. So it's cool that you kind of like even tie in that piece of immunity lore. So let's get it.
Android trash, but we only fuck with Apple. But we don't drink Sprite, cause we only fuck with Snapple. And she hit my iPhone next, I hit decline. Who is
Next, yeah? Let's get it.
Walk with a lamp.
156 gigs, no sim. Please do not attempt. Parking lot pin, but I'm not a pimp. Want me to do everything they say, but I drop a hoe quick because I'm not a sim. Bitch, I'm too zooted. I pop me a bean and I sip on some lean. Now I'm stuck like some lint. Woo! Bands and make her dance and make her damn, shine and make her bling. Ooh, fucking that bitch on the scene.
Yo.
Fucking that bitch on the scene. Ooh. Oh, that's hard.
That's right.
That's hard. Is I got bars?
A little.
Is that bars? Hey, ooh, fucking that bitch on the scene. Hey, fucking that bitch on the scene. I fucking a ooh, I wear me a mink. I wear me a fucking mink. Ooh. What? That's crazy. Hey,
Let's go.
Yeah, got the payload, huh? Yeah, counting queso, huh?
With my Migo Quavo,
Yeah, iPhone 8, huh? Yeah, when I flit, huh? Yeah, who that send me, huh? Wait, that's your name, huh?
Ring ring. Hello?
I don't fuck with the
Shout out to Sam.
hit the bongo like I'm DK, huh? Yo, bitch want to get a free taste, huh? I try to kick it like I'm East Bay, huh? They say peso while you speak, man, huh? Cause I had to get
my bag, yo.
Yeah, get my bag. I just got the bag, it's secured to my head. I just got the new
Family plan. T-Mobile reppin'.
I get my money and I flood out my wrist. To iPhone X, cause I got one for me.
Who's Mitch?
DAX hit me up, so we linking just like Abe, huh? T-Mobile shopping, I just got me a new
That's right.
She hit my line all the time, every day, huh? Majora's Mask, drop the moon on her face, yeah. Do not disturb. I feel a lot of these rappers be getting called they don't deserve. Bird is the word, so far I can't be disturbed, huh? Know what I'm worth.
Who let Peso go this long?
You.
You.
She deserve, yeah, serve what I serve, huh? Every bar is finna hurt,
I can't be my phone.
Bitch like, whoa, get out my way, leave me alone.
Yeah.
I did got my bread, just like the bakery,
Just like a stove.
Yeah, what is this though? Young boy white, he wants some more.
Before we get into that classic verse that's coming in a bit, this man Peso. Actually, before we get into that, let's talk about what we heard a little bit. Honestly, so this is something I've voiced before, but I think, like, thank God Camo has evolved since even just any point in the past. But I think his verse is very elementary compared to what he can do now. But it's crazy that, like, and you'll see this even as Jaywalk comes in, that everybody kind of gets a moment to like shine regardless. So like while I don't really care that like the whole dumb Sprite Snapple thing that Jaywalk and Camel had going on and everybody I don't know came in there, it was kind of funny that Camel had his his quips on Android and Apple with his Tyrone interlude. Bizarre has his amazing verse, especially with how it starts, I think.
Basically just has a long ass verse.
And his little moment is like his ending of like, yo, I did good, guys, right? That was great. The thing that I just did. And then with Peso's really cool intro with like, I used all three of his like tags at the time. And of course his goddamn sermon that preceded that or anteceded that. There's a thing for Jaywalk as well, which we'll get into. But yeah, everybody still shines. Like it's a fun ass song. I don't know why Peso went that long. Like I think we just handed him the beat and like this is how long he decided to go for. Like I don't think it was handed to him as an open with like all those verses there.
Yeah.
Which is why it turned out like that. But I mean, I was conflicted. I was like, I mean, we just gotta put it all right. Like it's just gotta be like this is how long the song is gonna be now.
Yep.
But yeah, and then,
I have
go ahead.
comments. It's crazy that I used simp back then. Like simp hasn't even become,
I was just thinking that.
It was not
Like, it
even
hasn't
there.
even-
Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't even a real thing. I don't know how I knew about that, but I'm on the internet too much. But
It was on AVR
just-
as well. Yeah.
really, you said simp on AVR?
Somebody else did. Yeah. And it stuck out to me recently as well that was even in their vernacular.
For Peso's verse, it was that you sent him an open that had no one else's verses on it, but you did tell him to only go this long, and he's like, "Yep,
Got you.
it, cool." And the way Peso works back then and a little bit now, if you send him an open and he's flowing, he's gonna keep going.
Yeah.
But I also want to mention, because I don't even know if you guys know this, but in the well, I'll start with this. The ring ring hello, dude. Getting Sim to do that over Snapchat was great.
There was a little of an escapade, a little heist.
Yeah, that's how she because we wanted her like to do that for the song, and she sent the snap to me and Peso, but Peso was the one that recorded it. One other thing which you guys might not know, but I think I've said it before, but Peso's that can't be my phone.
Yeah.
It's actually a reference to what I said on our other track me and Peso had on a throwaway page. So I just wanted to clear the air. I said it first, but
Sure. Cool. Okay, no, that's cool. That there's like a lore there. that
Yeah.
he's expanding on.
One more thing I want to say that I pointed out to Peso several times, and he's even agreed with me. Whenever he was like, he said something about hoes, and then someone was like, hello. I was like, hey, bro, that kind of looks kind of bad. Because it looks like he was referring to Sim in that manner, which he wasn't. But from an outside perspective, it kind of looks like that.
Sure. Maybe if you don't know what's going on with her and her traditional ass greeting.
Boyfriend kind of look like Peso P.
Sim was in on it was meant to be like she did that for the song.
Next up, we got a classic verse to cap this all off by none other but Jaywalk.
The bakery, just let us know. Yeah, what is this though? Young boy, why he wants some more?
I feel like I'm Joe too.
Why?
Cause I'm always alone.
Bring it back.
Why he wants some more?
I feel like I'm Joe too. Cause I'm always alone. iPhone X is all I have.
Can't
believe that it broke.
Let's go.
In my zone like Eureka. Mama seem to be my chica. You infectious like you Zika. Running faster than a cheetah. Double life Miley Cyrus. You too toxic like a virus. In my bones like arthritis. You should stop being righteous. You is more like hepatitis B. I think that you cannot see. Bizarre, you're on my body. You were gang toe, I'm diseased. And it is Jaywalk.
Yeah?
You know that they walk. Wait, I cannot stay locked. Hard to crack just like A-Rock. Iron defense like an Aaron. I chill out by the bay every day. So I guess now you can call me Baywalk. Hey. Honestly, if you gotta
have many comments.
Yeah.
Alright, cool.
You a bounty hunter. You just weird, okay? You a op.
Love this outro.
You op weirdo. Jaywalk.
Daddy.
Ew, gross.
What a moment.
So I don't have many comments. I do want to get it out the way that you know, everybody knows this now, or y'all know this, but you know, Peso does the ad libs for Jaywalk, on that verse, but I'm the one that yells Hannah Montana,
yeah.
after Miley Cyrus, just because that's my girl, I guess. I guess Bizarre's probably gonna pick up this mantle after I mention it, but obviously Jaywalk's verse is very of the time in that, I mean, my man's just bringing up everything that like could possibly come up in his brain, from diseases, animal life, celebrities, hepatitis B and Zika are in this verse. Like
sometimes you just can't believe some of the things that you know. You say it out loud, and I don't believe it, but then I hear it, I'm like, I still don't believe it, but it exists.
And there's something charming, sort of endearing about him doing this non-ass bar of, you know, him chilling at the bay. So I guess you can call him Baywalk, which is like, all right, man, you know, you got it. Go ahead, Bizarre.
All right, so to start out,
we
I'm gonna
go.
pick up on Jaywalk just saying whatever the fuck is on his mind. You gotta remember this shit. What is a year or two old?
2, yeah, about 2.
2 years old now, and Jaywalk's a jit. Like he was a jit at the time.
15.
He
Yeah.
was 15 years old. This is coming off of Teens, which you guys don't even know about. Could you scroll down real quick to this verse?
Oh, yes.
So
The opening
and then also
line?
Huh?
I was gonna say, are you gonna touch on the opening line?
I'm gonna get there, yeah.
Okay.
So the Baywalk thing, I mean, we gotta cut him some slack. All of us have done that at a certain point. When you're new to rapping or making music, of course you have to make a play on your name just so people understand what your name is. You know, it's establishing basically. So he's like, yeah, I'm Jaywalk, but if I was at the Bay, then I'm Baywalk. Like, it makes sense. It's cheesy and fucking stupid, but you know, it's good at the same time. So this is the problem that I have with this. Everybody that went fucking Peso fucking snapped for 3 hours. The intro was clean. Like Dax came in amazing. Fucking Camo does the meme, and then everyone's, you know, enjoying the verse that I do because I'm just flowing basically. I normally, before this, you didn't hear me really rap. For the people who are just now just meeting me at the time, they hadn't heard my old shit where I actually did rap. So that's why in my verse I'm like, oh, Bizarre got bars. Like,
Yeah,
most people didn't know that.
Yeah, that's true.
So, and the shit that upset me about Jaywalk's verse, and I've said this to him before, is out of all the things that people could have quoted, it was, I feel like I'm 02 because I'm always alone.
Yeah.
He had watched one episode, not even a full episode, one episode of the show. Also, I'm going to call you out on this. 2 years ago, he did not have an iPhone X. And
Yeah, iPhone 6.
Yeah, and he did not break it. That was a reference to my
The song, correct?
No. I broke my iPhone 6. I broke my iPhone 6.
Oh, okay. Well, iPhone X is anyways.
Creative liberties.
Then the other reference is just, you know, Bizarre Gear, which is now Tulafiora, which you can go to tulafiora.com right now and get some clothes. New drop September 7th. Anyways, Bizarre Gear was the shit that I had back in the day. And then what else did you say? Good Boy Gang. Yeah. Shout out me.
Yeah, that's right.
It's just all praises to me, the Most High.
Yeah, and the fact that you are a suffering patient of hepatitis B.
Mm-hmm. And Zika or whatever the fuck that is.
That's your 71 for 71 on the disease chart.
And you have arthritis.
And I can run faster than a cheetah.
Apparently.
And your Big Lax's biggest enemy.
But yeah, that's what everyone latched onto was the Jaywalk verse, and I'm glad that we did put him on it because I don't think that this would have popped as hard.
The B and Big
honestly,
Lax.
This is like my first like feature too, like my first community feature. I think
it's almost at 20K, which is great. Look at those downloads as well. Mad engagement, honestly. What I like is that references to memes were made, but also with Jaywalk, a meme was born. With I feel like I'm 02.
Of the community, that was the meme from this song. All the quotables that you could take from it, it was I feel like I'm 02 because I'm always alone.
Can I?
Yeah.
Can I also say that she was like Hero in the show? Hero was like, no, she was like swimming in the water with some shit, and then her boss or some shit, and she was like, I'm always alone or some shit, bro. and everybody like the like flow that I used on that song. Don't know where I got it from, but everybody like I can name like 5 people off the top of my head that took it and tried to repurpose it.
Interesting.
Yeah, wasn't there a meme that Jaquel was on this or something?
That's
yeah. Jaquel made the beat.
Well, Jaquel anything was the idea. I mean, it's not hyper important to the lore, but it is funny that was like a thing. That like Jaquel got barred, Jaquel ethered this, like, yeah.
I forgot how that became a meme, but I don't think it started on this, or maybe
I think it was because we never put him on anything.
One of my favorite accolades is Walter West, who I think is top 2, not 2 in the community, giving me the DAX had the perfect cadence.
You know, looking back on it, I found one of my old memes that DAX quoted me on.
Okay.
Interesting concept. Could you please elaborate?
Oh yeah, that's an oldie but a goodie. If we don't have that community or Bemunity meme list around, I mean, we gotta add it to that.
One last thing.
Okay.
Because I'm sorry, but you also, you know, you touched on this, that a lot of our lyrics in this project is us, you know, doing like memes that, you know, were between us.
Yeah.
And we're kind of sharing them with our listeners.
Inside jokes, yeah.
Yeah, and I feel like, you know, even if they don't get the inside joke, there's still like, you know, humor there, or, you know, it's interesting to listen to.
Yeah.
And, you know, I feel like it did wonders for the project. Cause like we weren't just doing, like, we weren't just reading a fucking script.
It wasn't industry either. It was very personal.
Yeah. So I feel like that's what gave it its charm.
Before we get it, I mean, we're getting into the last song, and then I'll talk about the whole project as a whole in a bit. We got Darling to bookend it all.
My favorite song.
Okay. Let's go.
I think that she feeling me, she digging me. These others, they can't match my divinity.
Let's go.
Niggas play their songs and hear crickets, but
no Jiminy.
I play one line and bitches lose their virginity. She sit on my lap, that's that infinite affinity. We fly together, that's that trust symmetry. And we cry together, hey, that's that trust empathy. And we die together, hey, that's that trust validity. Yeah, pink hair, fuck, it's the pink hair.
Let's go.
Man, yeah, I swear this shit is unfair. I love when she's happy, so we went to the fun fair. Hop up in the Franks just to waste time to run there. There aren't any memories I wish that I could unshare. There aren't any burdens I wish that I could unbear. There aren't any frowns that I wish that I could unwear. There aren't any reasons why I wish that I
no regrets. Let's go.
You can rock amigo. We're more than amigos. No gal is your rico. Damn, vote for the green in your eyes, girl. I see no evil. Wings like eagles, fly together, screw the people. Mine forever. This is just started. Okay, I'm gone and departed. This show's quite awesome, regardless of all its nonsense of plot. I acknowledge. Hey, nice lord. Metro Boomin, what's some more? Blue blood standing in for gore. Giant robots, guns and swords and stuff.
All right.
Yeah, you're sorta tough, man. You're so tough. Damn, been a dog, good boy. Hit her with the rough. I know several things to say to make her eyes roll. She could team future unproduced. Yes, I roll. Kills me every time. DAXLING, kiss of death. Girl, you
Double
can't
X.
love any other, cause you got no niggas left. Listen, watch out when we turn red. All you ops are getting sweat. Finish BZANXX and I'm DJ DAX. What you talking about? Okay.
Hot.
1K downloads. Almost 2.
2K, goddamn.
Love that song, bro.
I've
Imagine how
got
many edits of that there are out there. That'd be
Probably
crazy.
like none, to be fair, but
5.
there should be, like plenty. But this song, goddamn. So I love this as an outro. Feels great. Kind of like sort of speaking on the album. I mean, on the property in a good light, sort of, or at least it feels good. Although I do have some like negative things to say. But in terms of BZANXX's verse, I love it. I'm actually not a huge fan, but like I just heard something and like appreciated it. I wasn't the hugest fan of this section, because it just felt like practically like the same bar was being said. But I noticed that at least in having "We Cry Together" and "Trust Empathy," that there was like, oh wait a second, he's been kind of doing that over and over, but empathy and crying have something to do with each other. And sure, flying together, you could, I mean, the together really, sure, the symmetry in the air or something. And then
I got an explanation for it.
Sure, dale.
Okay, so, well, I don't mean to cut you off when I say this, but notice that I do that again with the "there aren't any memories." Like, I repeat myself type shit, right? Now, I just want to put it in perspective. Imagine, because this is when I was loving, like, the show and enjoying the concept of having that significant other that is, like, that's love for real. Like, you really love them. The infinite affinity part, I guess we can cut out, but she said on my lap, you have affinity toward each other, like, you know, type shit. Anyways, "We Fly Together," the trust symmetry part comes from what's talked about in the first episode of the show, I believe.
With the birds.
The bird can't fly without the other.
Yeah.
And so they need to be symmetrical in order to fly together straight. The crying together, having empathy for each other.
Pretty
together.
obvious.
Like, whatever your pain is also my pain. We die together, that's what validates it, is that's your ride or die type shit.
Sure.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was just saying that it hit me different this time around. So yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, it hit me different too. I'm like, what the fuck was I saying? I guess I'm really deep or fake deep. I don't know. But even with the no regrets part, it's like, imagine having that person where it's like, no matter what you go through, like, there are no regrets with that person.
I don't regret a thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's and yeah, that ultimately is very sweet. I mean, the show was striving for stuff like that, and it's cool that you were inspired to speak on it that way. On my end, general stuff that's on topic. My favorite parts being, "No gal is your equal." Shit, there goes Ichigo. Because in my head, I'm like, yeah, the show is telling me I should be head over heels over 02, and sure I am off of design alone. But then my man's is also entertaining Ichigo or whatever, Ichigo. And it's like, all right, so are they worth the same? Like, is this really a triangle? Because in the show, it's like, it doesn't really look like it. Like, it's obvious. I can just tell, like, obviously he's going to end up with 02. Ichigo's just here to get screwed over.
Yeah, cut.
So, I mean, that's how I viewed that. You said what now?
I said, you say cuck on stream?
Yeah. Awesome regardless of all of its nonsense with plot, I acknowledge. So I was trying to, like, being like, look, it's good, it's bad, it is what it is. Going into some other details. I was going to mention this earlier, too. It's funny that I disrespect BZANXX on Past Flame by not including his tag. But on this song, it's like proof of something that I kind of do with anybody I work with, where I honestly do try to respect, like, what they are, who they are, their branding, and almost like I find it fun to give their branding the amount of attention that I would, right? Like if I was on a track and someone was like, yeah, and he's a 72nd Reverend, I'm like, oh, he knows about that. That's like a thing that isn't like my stage name, but if you listen to me like ever, you know about that. So, you have BZANXX's tag somewhere in the intro, and then when it comes to his verse, and when he says, pink hair, fuck, it's the pink hair, for the fuck part, I chop in part of his extended tag that includes the yelling of fuck, which is just a small detail, because, like, yeah, duh. And there might even be some more of that later on in this review week. And
I'm so excited for that.
Oh, hell yeah. And yeah, down to stuff like, Damn, been a dog, good boy, hit her with the rough. You know, references to the good boy hive. Shiga Team Future on produce, yeah, it's Cairo. Like, you know, just shouting out anything that we're involved with here. Yeah, to just kind of like bring it all together. You had something to say?
Yep. So with the coming together with branding and everything, I even, I pay homage or homage. How do you say it?
Pay homage.
Homage. Okay, I was leaving out the H. It was silent for me. But I do that for DAX as well. Like in when I'm doing the hook and I send it to him.
DJ Dax.
Yeah, I go DJ Dax in the back, and like that's his tag, that's his thing. It also took me a few tries to do it, but I feel like when that energy is shared on a track, it makes for a better experience for everybody.
That's right.
I'm acknowledging him, he's acknowledging me, and it's like, it's like we're together. I mean, we weren't in the same room, but it almost felt like we were. So, I think that's a really important thing to do when you're collaborating with others.
And it's interesting. I mean, for a small project as this, as small as I'm not nailing the sentence. For as small as a project as this is, there was some like talk in terms of like organizing what was going on. Like on Darling, something I remember was there being contention about the mixing of the hook, because it sounds a little different. It almost sounds like some alt rock mixing or something going on there. And it's honestly like a chance I was trying to take, like just like, let's see how this turns out. And I knew it sounded weird, and Bizarre gave me some tips on maybe it sounds weird because of this, or maybe it sounds weird because of the performance. And it was something we had to navigate, but ultimately, I mean, I think where we landed is fine, or good. All in all, this project, I'm proud of it. It's honed in, like it is what it needs to be. It's fun. All of these songs like hit, like there's always something there for you. My personal favorite, iPhone XX is too huge to ignore, obviously, right, because of what it is.
Numbers and people.
Yeah, like and so much happened on that, but just musically, like I'm just proud. Like no other way to me feels like an intro of me and Bizarre as like even a concept, and. Yeah. It's cool. Like it's just a slick, and it's very short, in terms of like our actual performance. So it that only speaks to how like we did a lot with a little. I mean, anybody else want to? I mean, I know some of y'all said your favorites already, but Camo, what's your favorite
song?
Yeah.
Probably Darling.
Darling. Okay. Yeah, let me see if there's anything in the notes here, or if you guys want to say anything in the meantime.
Yeah, I think we should do the other two right now.
Yeah, nope. Would it be hot? But
like, before the last day, when we finally get to hot niggas, I was thinking, what if we could get Jeff Gomez in here, bro?
And be like, what do you think about this? And he'll be like, I don't know.
Never heard it.
Never heard a word. But yeah, that's DAXLING and the BZANXX. I think the first thing I want to do before I get into like all the extracurricular stuff is go ahead and rank it. What's interesting to me, and honestly, I'm gonna say some stuff about how I feel, but I want to hear what you guys would do. You can see it on stream, of course, the current listing.
The way I look at it is like DAXLING and the BZANXX is good.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't say, because tomorrow we're just going to be listening to BZANXX, which I think is like infinitely better than this. So I do believe that this goes below Ari.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead.
I didn't pull up to Arene, Bliss Blunder, Done Dreaming, ABR Forever, Future Fantasy 72, or the Heartificial EP 1, or Begin the Legend. I don't know where I would rank it. Of course, I'd probably put it at number 1 because I'm on it. And, like I said, it solidified, us as like a fucking duo and shit. But that's just, my personal. I have too much bias when it comes to it. Yeah. So, and it's your album rankings. I don't know where.
No. I mean, yeah, I don't mind hearing how you guys feel about it, of course. What I was gonna say, I mean, Jaywalk, are you alive? I don't know if you have anything to say.
I don't know where you
are. Okay. So yeah, the way I feel about it is that it's tight, it's precise, like it does what it needs to. Think about how like technically this is not too off in terms of like how songs would be on AVR Forever concerning an anime, and that I'm technically doing that. But these songs are much more songs than the songs on AVR. You know, like some of the songs on AVR are very, very concerned with, you know, being true to the source material or whatever, right? Meanwhile, on DAXLING, there's a lot of just capturing the spirit of it, you know, the vibe of it, or making, you know, passing references while really keeping the song itself intact and fun. Go ahead.
I did want to comment on that because I remember bringing that up earlier where I was like, you know, this had a lot of personal meaning to it, but also a lot of personal concept explanation or exploration, I would say. And I mean, I haven't heard AVR Forever, but as you said, you kind of stuck to, well, I said we didn't stick to a script. So it sounds like an AVR Forever, you kind of was like, you were like, all right, I'm going to stick to a little script. I'm going to make sure I hit this, and that, blah,
totally.
blah, blah. And it's like with this one, because it's so personal, I feel like that's where, you know, your creativity really shines because you're not just trying to be like, man, I'm the Hokage like Naruto. Like,
yeah,
it's very different. You try to work around, you know, just being very literal, and you know, explain concepts to people by putting it in your own words. You're not really just taking from it. You're paraphrasing. It makes for better music, personally.
And ultimately, what it becomes is that it's dependent on, well, look, if you've seen the show, you'll get it. And like, and if you haven't, then like, it's almost like not my business to really like get you up to speed. Like, that's not really what this project is concerned with. It's not an adaptation. So like, yeah, I mean, it's for who it is. So if you feel like the themes aren't explored in every way possible, it's like, yeah, well, it's more like if you've seen the show, we got 4 songs for you that were inspired by niggas that had seen the show. Jesus, I had a stroke. Yeah, Bella Hadid. All right, so let me work up from here. It's obviously better than AVR. It reminds me a lot of Done Dreaming in that it's short. But I think it probably just sounds better, is the idea. Bliss Plus Blunder is so cool because it's grand. I'm stuck between putting it above and below Bliss Plus Blunder because it's so, I mean, it is special, and you know, there's like some bias in that or whatever the hell, but also like Bliss is relatively ambitious. Like it's trying to do a lot with its message, and it sort of does it. It does it to a decent degree. But at the same time, I don't know, how much weight do I give, how much value do I give to just having like a fun thing?
Is your list ranked based on, you know, progression and, you know, being like artistry, or is it based on just, you know, how good the albums are, or, you know,
how good they are?
Okay.
Because and that's what, and that gives an escape for projects that aren't as like sonically perfect, right?
Right.
Because it's like, oh yeah, I mean, the mic quality wasn't all there, his performance wasn't perfect, but this nigga was spitting, I guess, about something, right?
And the message is clear, or, you know.
Yeah, Areen was an experience, bro. I'm not gonna hold you.
Yeah. So like, I think Areen gets respect for that. What I'm gonna ultimately do is I'm gonna put DAXLING above Bliss, and what it comes down to for me is that, oh, it looks like I'm gonna have to shrink the fonts here a little bit. Is that ultimately it's a project that sounds good the entire way through, right? It's a project that Jesus, can I undo this? That is consistent in its quality. It's always fun the entire time. And in terms of nailing what it's supposed to be, I think it has a higher completion rate than Bliss Plus Blunder, technically. So it might not be as like huge in that it's my personal community debut, it's something that I could probably recommend to somebody, like, first, you know? Like,
yeah. You're kind of like, throwing out the whether or not it's deep or, forming for, the DJ DAX persona, and you're just like, okay, it sounds good, it's a vibe, people can get it, easy to, listen to.
Yeah. And like I said, it's not that I don't appreciate themes. Like, Aureen gets a pass in that, like, listen to this project, man. It's kind of dated and I wasn't perfect, but if you're willing to give me a chance, you might get something out of it. So, like, okay, there's that for Aureen. But with DAXLING, it gets that over Bliss Bliss Blunder, because it's like, nah, it's just good, like, the entire way, so you got to give it that. All right, well, is this correct? Let me see.
Yeah, 10 songs, 5 days, which is correct.
That's right. So we have only 2 more days left. Wow. Let's go over some extracurricular stuff here as we close off this stream. Thanks for everybody that's stuck through.
You're welcome.
Not bizarre though.
Every time Peso doesn't say why it sound like I get $5.
So here we have my little like Behance portfolio thing, and I've got a little thing for the DAXLING and BZANXX branding. I describe it as the electric collaboration between Bizarre and DJ DAX concerning the attention-demanding anime collaboration between A1 Pictures and Studio Trigger. The point there being that, like, Bizarre and I coming together is a crazy joining of forces, and it's awesome that it was brought about because of another, joining of forces, A1 Pictures and Studio Trigger. Darling in the Franxx is the anime. We are DJ DAX and Bizarre. Our project is DAXLING and the BZANXX. So, you get the cover art. I love the feel of this. It almost feels like Sprite, I always think, with the background. I add on here. The cover art uses actual line art from the drafting stages of the anime's production. So it's like a cool little Easter egg. The red and blue.
The cover art looks so fucking melancholy for no goddamn reason.
Oh, like she died or something, and it's like a
vision
from
what
heaven.
The fuck is this?
That's funny. That's funny.
Like,
that's funny that you see it that way.
I always thought that, like, is she dying or something?
To me, it's funny because I can see that imagery in an anime. To me, it's always more angelic, which is not too far from that. Which is ironic, giving her devil status. The subtle XXs in the back, and the colors of the show with the red and blue. We have the 4 cover arts. No Other Way, 02, iPhone XX, and Darling. Sort of continuing that feel. Here we have them at greater detail. Promotional assets like the banner for it. I remember being a fan of that. I mean, it's a cool avatar. The middle is hot. And I love this sort of like track list style. The blurs are very important here. The visualizer for YouTube, nothing too special, but it's cute. A soft pull. And telling you what track you're on. Scott the Woz. And yeah, that's DAXLING, brothers and sisters. One of my favorite things too is that in the branding of it, the Team Future and the Shiga kind of, paying respect to what it is. Boy, oh boy.
Rest in peace, me being part of Shiga.
That's right. We loved you so much in that.
Yeah, I was really active. I'll say that.
Guys, that's been a crazy stream. It's been a joy ride. We've got a huge day tomorrow. I mean, it seems like I say that all the time, but I mean,
the tape and
Bizarre DAX, man. So we're getting another collab EP, of course, on the latter half, which is the return of the notion that 2 studios came together, and thus Bizarre and I must come together as well.
Again.
So we're gonna explore a lot of that, and then also the tape, which is like,
it's the least Bemunity album out of the Bemunity albums. In my opinion.
Oh, you think so? Okay, cool. And honestly, I think it's Bemunity enough. Like, there's some community things going on there. But it's my next solo project in like a long time, right? The last one being Heartificial EP Volume 2. And while that one was such a like a party, you know, and like kind of what you were saying, that I brought, you know, a lot of Bermuda niggas into it. With the tape, there isn't lore. There isn't something crazy like that going on, or it's not based on some franchise. It's literally just the tape, right? Like, it's just what it is. And we get into what that, well, we will get into what that really is tomorrow, but ultimately it's just a tape about me struggling with being angry. So it's gonna be fun. We got 10 tracks and another 4-track.
Yeah, you sound like a fucking baby.
That's gonna be a doozy. Oh my god.
I have closing comments.
Closing comments.
Yeah. If you guys really liked
oh my god,
DAXLING, just wait, bro. Like,
yes.
Like yeah.
And it's interesting to me that you guys, basically more than one of you, have been saying this, that I didn't know that that's how you guys felt about it. I mean, I sort of did too, but the notion that Bizarre Daxman or Daxman is, I guess, sort of better to you guys.
It's basic, dude. 2 years ago, like, I still had the snowball mic. Like I said, I was recording in my dorm half the time, and like I said at the beginning, where I was telling people, you know, the key to, you know, progressing is finding creatives that think like you, or, you know, do other things that surround what you do, to better yourself and them. And I feel like, you know, that was the mission on Bizarre.Daxman. Whenever you do a sequel to anything, you have to go harder than you did the first time.
Yeah.
And I think we even like talked about that. We were like, well, if we do it, we gotta make it like really good. And we did that.
We ultimately did
it.
Yeah, that wasn't Jackets in July camo. That was Heat Distortion camo.
That's, which is interesting. Yeah, I mean, and that's the level up that I was talking about, of that I appreciate so much nowadays. So yeah, I can't wait to. I know how you ripped that song, so that's gonna be so much fun. I think the last thing I want to talk about with DAXLING is something about the production here, in that well, I wonder what you wanted to say, but that it's got Audwin on it, which in my head represents getting a Team Future producer on it, right? And it's got Kyra on it, which in my head represents getting a Shiga producer on it. And, you know, we bookend the stuff that way. And then two kind of like unrelated, but, you know, community people, Risey being community and White being Bemunity. So it's good. Like, it's, imagine that in 4 songs really touching that much, really being that effective.
Being inside of each other.
Like we would in the Franks.
Yep.
So we're going to see the same lineup tomorrow on Bizarre Daxman, damn near to a T. I mean, I think literally to a T. Production and in the features. There's literally nothing, like, it's beautiful, the mirrors that there are. And we're going to get more into that tomorrow. I don't want to let this goddamn thing go, but we will. Tomorrow's going to be a fun one. Remember, guys, 10 p.m. What's it called? Those 2 projects, watch out. Twitch.tv/PeterDudeRocks. Thanks again. Yeah. Good night.
Good night.
Night.